All right, welcome to another episode of the Jumping the Rail podcast here on the JTR Podcast Network. This is Mark Rebman coming to you from the Noodles position in Champaign, Illinois, joined as always by my buddy Minderz.
Am I still your buddy?
You're still my buddy.
I
It was a
am.
long weekend. Yeah, I know. I've made my peace with the shirt. But I do think it's funny you said it smells like Tito.
It does. It smells like Tito.
Because you didn't buy that off a merch table. You bought that from Tito Santana on Saturday.
I did. I bought it from Tito Santana. I love it.
Yes. And
I also bought a baby.
Yes, you did. Speaking of, you sent me a video, I should say.
A gift?
No, not the gift. The one you sent me yesterday.
Oh, that one.
But why don't you tell the people who you bought the baby from?
Well, here, I'll just show you the baby.
You can show the baby.
I bought a baby.
You did.
And it says Minderz. And then it says Snitsky was here.
Yes, our Gene Snitsky was selling babies at his table.
He might be one of my new favorites because
he was so fun.
He was a blast.
And it sounds like not unopen to doing the podcast.
No, I was excited. I was super excited.
Yeah. But anyway, you sent me this video. I wasn't here for this. You caught this on the floor of the expo Saturday.
Well, actually, Ken Anderson's wife?
Lady. We'll just say lady. I'm not sure if they're married.
But... Okay, Anastasia. She caught this, and I asked her to send it to me because Gene wanted to make, Snitsky wanted to make sure that I saw this. So he's like, you need. He told Anastasia to send it to me. He made it a point.
Yes, I will point out Ken Anderson has great taste in ladies' names because
he does.
So, all right, well, let's throw this video up here. It's not very long. It's like 30 seconds. Here we
go.
I think we can do better than that in Indianapolis. Who wants to see this little bastard get kicked? Yeah. And just remember, it's not my fault. All right, where's that drum roll?
How close did he come to hitting Malenko in the head?
I don't know. I kind of wondered
close to Malenko's table.
I know. That was real close.
I'm sorry, Dan Malenko.
Shut up. It's Dean. Shut up.
Minderz, we have a lot of stuff to get into for the expo, but we have to handle some business first.
Yeah, let's handle some business.
It's been a long weekend. I'm worried about you, so I want to check your brain.
No, boy. Yeah, because I didn't get enough of old-time wrestlers this weekend. Let's do this.
Yes. All right, here we go. All right, it is time for Name That Wrestler. Minderz, you know how this works. I show you a picture, you guess who it is. Again, not that hard. This is a black and white photo of a current wrestler.
Current wrestler. Okay. Current
wrestler. I don't know how easy this is going to be. Since I'm the one that finds them, I can tell who it is, but we're going to...
All right. Well, let's just get it up there. Let me...
All right.
Oh, that's one of the Namath boys. Oh, Nick? Yeah!
My first clue was going to be you saw him this weekend.
Well, no, I didn't actually. I didn't see him.
I saw him this weekend.
You saw him this weekend. I didn't.
Yeah, he signed my busted open hat, as did Thunder Rosa.
There you go.
With an assist from
you understand,
from my bride.
On Friday, we spent most of our time in photo op.
We really did. It was a lot of time.
And I'm not complaining because we met some really cool people in those photo op lines.
Because we got in line to get in at 3. Our first photo op was 4:45.
Show didn't start till 4.
Show didn't start till 4. So a lot of killing time. But I got my moonshine burger beforehand. Thank you very much, by the way.
You're welcome.
What if we can get them to sponsor us?
I don't know about all that.
I don't know. But yeah, so you had how many photo ops on Friday?
I had 4.
You had 4. I had 3.
I had 4
3
because I had
3.
APA, Joe, Will, and King and JR.
Yeah, I had all those but the APA.
Right.
Yeah, that was a busy Friday. We didn't get a whole lot of time to schmooze on Friday.
Maybe you didn't, but I networked my little buttocks off this weekend.
Yes, your buttocks.
My buttocks.
Yeah. Saturday we were both running around all over the place. But we decided, Minderz, for our Hoots and Judies this week, we're going to do like what we did last week with WrestleMania. We're going to have an Expo Hoot and Judy, and we're going to have a regular Hoot and Judy. So, so let's jump right into it. We got about a good 20 minutes before our guest gets in here. For those that don't remember, we will be joined by one half of the ill-begotten Jeremiah Plunkett, friend of the show, who was at the Expo.
He
wrestled
was
on Saturday.
He did it. That was probably one of my funnest matches. I thought I liked that match a lot.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get into the Hoots and Judies then. I'm going to let you go first. Let's start with regular Hoot and regular Judy, Minderz.
Regular Hoot and regular Judy.
Yes.
Okay.
Give me 1 second so I can get
the right one up.
Yeah.
Because I switched it on you.
You did.
I switched it on you today.
You called an audible, but that's all right because the audible was well earned.
It was. It was very well earned. You ready? Not yet?
I'm ready.
You ready? So my good Hoot of the week is from TNA and is the X Division champion Moose.
He was busy.
He pulled a Devontae.
Okay, he was at the Expo, but his hoot hood is not just because of his Expo appearance.
Right. Well, that's part of it. Because he ended up filling in for Chavo Guerrero Jr. in the match that night.
Uh-huh.
He was supposed Chavo was supposed to fight Lord Crew. It ended up being Moose versus Lord Crew, which
really good match.
There's your Haas fight.
That is a Haas fight.
And then
Moose kicked him in the beard.
He did. And then he goes to do the X Division or Ultimate
X.
Ultimate X.
Hey Sean, what's up?
On TNA. And
then opened the show, by the way.
Yeah. And then like 3 matches later he had to do the triple the trios 6-man tag. Because who didn't make it?
Johnny Nangle Curtis wasn't there.
Yeah.
So yeah, he put in what we call a Devontae Knox schedule this weekend.
3 matches, 2 days.
Yes. It's still not quite the level of Devontae. What was it, 11
No,
matches over?
I think it was 11 matches in 3 days. But yeah.
Okay. AJ's regular hoot this week is Pat McAfee for his promo last night, which I almost went with Pat, which is saying something because I'm not a fan of his commentary.
Yeah, neither one of us are.
No. Okay, my regular hoot. I went co-hoots for our regular hoot this week. I went with the 6 guys that were involved in that TLC match on SmackDown.
Holy crap, that was good. I did go back and watch that. It was real good.
And you know me, I'm not a fan of ladder matches in general, Minderz, but this one got me.
Yep.
It was just the Montez hitting the guy with the leg. And that guy, the guy with the leg was on Busted Open yesterday morning talking about it.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
I've only seen that happen one other time.
Kevin Nash?
Oh, no. At an indie show, actually.
Oh, at an indie show.
Yeah, well, Carrot stole Madrox's leg.
Oh, I was thinking in your house when Diesel took Mad Dog Vachon's leg off of him and tried to hit Michaels with it.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Hey, Reb, you were right. Zelina's the new Women's USA champ.
Well, Reb, you were right is not an uncommon sentence to hear.
Oh, boy, here we go. Uh-huh. All right.
All right, let me clear that off here. Minderz, your regular Judy, please. Well, no, wait. Let's get all our hoots out first before we get to Judy's.
Okay.
So, Expo hoot.
Well, my Expo hoot is the new SCX heavyweight champion, Jake Oman.
Friend of the show.
friend of the show.
He was on last week.
Hey, he went coast to coast. He called it last week. He said he wanted to go in there first, and he was going coast to coast.
And he wanted Elijah Eros. He got
He
Elijah.
did. He got Elijah. Actually,
and it came
Elijah
down to
was
him
number
and
2.
Cardona, which is what I think everybody expected.
Yep.
But also,
and then I called
belt nerd
it
in
that
me,
he was
Minderz.
winning.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be some kind of fuckery with Cardona. Because there was a certain toothy cowboy that was at the expo that's been helping Cardona out lately. And I thought he was going to get involved.
Well, he had to hurry
Sean,
up.
we are going to get into Rebellion here in a little bit. Because we
He
both
had
have
to
talk about
hurry up
something.
and get. Apparently, he was supposed to be at TNA too. So he probably left out early Saturday.
He might have. Maybe he left with Ziggler.
Maybe. No, because Ziggler was gone before
Nah, that's true.
that. Because Ziggler wasn't there on Saturday.
That's true. Well, anyway, but yeah, Omen, also the belt nerd me was thrilled that they have a new belt for the Squared Circle Expo champion.
It's really heavy.
I'm sure it is. You got to hold it
I did.
without Jake's knowledge.
Right.
But I'm sure he forgave you.
Oh, I'm sure he will. Hey, I'm not going to try to win it, so I can't curse it.
No. You explained Minderz Law to more people over the weekend.
Well, I had to, because we kept saying Minderz Law, because there would be like a multi-man match.
That women's match, everybody touched the belt.
So dumb. And we're just sitting there and we keep looking at each other going, Minderz Law. Yeah, because I had to explain that one to Indianapolis, Sean.
The
It was in
Wyndham
Indianapolis.
Hotel, Wyndham East, I think, in Indianapolis.
Probably west, because it's on the west side of Indianapolis.
It's just the Wyndham by the airport.
There you go. But yeah,
Not
I had to explain it to Freya the Slaya. She was a lot of fun too.
Yeah.
All right. I'm ready to hear who. Actually, I already know who your good hoot is because it's who we talked about all freaking weekend.
Were we bewitched by this man, Minderz?
You know, here's the thing. I don't know if he would have been as high up on my list, except for the after party.
Yeah.
When he showed up at the after party and gave me a hug, I was a happy camper. I was a very happy camper. And I'm usually one that's not, but he did like my shirt.
Yeah. Which is saying something because it was a corny shirt.
It was a corny shirt.
Yeah.
I was surprised he liked it.
Yeah. Well, my Expo hoot Minderz is Will Ospreay.
He was such a good guy.
I mean, I don't throw this around. He was a fucking gentleman.
He was great.
Every interaction we had with him this weekend, he was just first class.
And don't forget, I got my business card in his hand too.
You mean our business card?
I mean our business card in his hand.
You're not sliding him with your personal digits saying, hit me
up.
up.
No. I'm smarter than that. Come on now.
But no,
I might wear a shirt that says support your local ring rat, but I am not a ring rat. Thank you very much.
You have a reputation.
I do.
But
and
no,
it's a professional one.
From the second we went up to meet him, I think he bowed, didn't he, to you?
Mm-hmm.
He shook your hand. He was very friendly, smiled to everybody. Everybody that I saw talk to him, he had a smile on his face. He was
I think he was just amazed at how many people were there, honestly.
Might have been.
I think he was just shocked. Like I don't know why he would have been so shocked, but
besides Bret Hart, he might have been the biggest name there. As far as current, definitely the biggest name of the current wrestlers.
Joe.
I don't know. I'd probably put Ospreay over Joe.
Okay. But yeah, he was awesome. Ospreay was the best.
Yeah, Ospreay was.
If it wasn't for the fact that Jake's a friend of the show and I love Jake, I probably would have picked Ospreay. But
yeah,
I knew you were going to, so I didn't have to.
Yep. All right. Well, let's move on to Judy's here, Minderz. Again, we have two each. So we'll start non-expo hoot. Regular Judy, I should say.
Well, you just said non-expo hoot, and now you're saying...
My brain is still somewhat puddingish after this weekend.
There was a lot going on this weekend.
There was a lot going on.
So my good Judy of the week coming from WWE-ish is coming from WWE last night on Raw, actually. Going co-Judies. and I went with Roxy and Rhea. Although I loved the match up until the end.
Yeah, the finish, they didn't need that for the finish.
Nope,
I
the finish
didn't
pissed
think.
me off. But the rest of the match, chef's kiss.
Yeah.
Really
Now,
like
for
that.
the record, Julia and Roxy have not been announced officially as on the main roster yet. So I'm not sure.
Oh, it's coming.
It's coming, but
That's draft. I'm guessing it's going to be draft.
probably, yeah. But yeah, I'm just saying they haven't officially been named to the main roster. So they're still going to be on NXT regularly. Fraser and Axiom Minderz got announced officially on the SmackDown roster over the weekend.
Which, okay. I have a feeling they're going to get lost in that one, but okay.
Unless they're really going to work on beefing up the tag team ranks. But anyway, that's for another discussion later.
Yep.
All right, my Judy, I'm going to SmackDown. I'm going with our new United States champion, Zelina Vega.
That was a good match. That
Good
really was a
match.
good match.
Yeah, the fuckery was at a minimum. The Secret Harvest did their job. Got ejected.
Yep.
And
I actually went back and watched this SmackDown, even though you snuck off and went and watched it Friday night.
Butthead. We had me and Bari, Hoot Supreme. We had to go up to the room because we needed a break. So we watched the first segment of SmackDown. We didn't watch the whole show.
Right.
So we watched the Cena Orton promo.
Right.
And then we went back down because we had to get in line for the wrestling show.
As I was still running around like a chick with my head cut off the entire time. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. All right, so let's see. How about you're good? How about my good Judy from the Expo?
Yes, this was one of my favorite conversations that we had over the whole weekend.
Oh, it was great.
Yeah.
Good Judy. What do I even say? I'll say she's from NWA. How's that? Because she was hanging out with those guys.
Well,
can I go with
her
that?
husband. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's
just
true.
say former NWA Women's Champion.
There you go. Former NWA Women's Show. Camille. Yep. She was so fun.
The Brick House, Camille.
She is awesome.
Very friendly, very engaging. You were being very careful not to overspeak.
Minderz. I did, but I thought I did a very good job.
You did.
Because I brought up how we were not, how she was. I didn't tell her she was part of the Ruined.
No.
But I did in a lot more words.
Without telling her that she was ruined.
Yeah, without telling her she was ruined.
We made a point to put over how we enjoy her work. I mentioned the power stuff. And you mentioned everything else.
I did. Well, and it was more of, we told her how we loved her talent. We just hated the way she was booked in AEW. And in my opinion,
disagree.
She neither denied or confirmed. So right. I want to make sure I put that out there because I don't want to cause any problems for her later. So, but she neither denied nor confirmed that she agreed with us. But if you saw the look on her face,
she was very diplomatic.
Yes, very diplomatic.
Also, not for nothing, Tom Latimer was a friendly fella when we met him.
He was very nice too, yeah. And then, well, we'll get into all that because we met a lot of really cool people this weekend.
Yeah. Well, Minderz, my Expo Judy, kind of a no-brainer, but our buddy Heather Owens, friend of the show, she and Adolfo and Ed did just a freaking great job running the whole thing this weekend.
Hey, even JBL was putting them over.
Yeah, on Pritchard's
Conrad.
podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is our annual after party selfie that we take every year.
We wait until Heather can go.
Yeah, when she can finally breathe and enjoy it.
Yes.
But yeah, they put in just an incredible amount of work all weekend doing this, and every now and then Heather, I saw her. She'd get one of the photo ops, or she'd be around. She'd take a second to enjoy things, but.
There was a couple times I told her, like, if I saw her pictures up on the table still, I would go back Yes, Sean, we know. We'll talk about it later.
Yep.
I would, as I'm walking past the table to head back to the expo room, I would say, Heather, your picture's up there. She'd be like, oh, okay. And she'd go get it. So,
Mhm. Oh my goodness! But yeah, there's not enough we can say good about the expo this year, and
there
we'll
were
get
a
into
few
it more.
people that were no-shows, but
Yeah, there was one. Zilla Fatu wasn't there, and originally they thought he no-showed, but apparently it was a miscommunication with his sponsor that was the issue.
oh,
Because they I put a post out yesterday, like clarifying that it
gotcha.
wasn't malicious.
Good. That makes
Which
me
I thought
feel
it
a
was
little
weird he
better.
wasn't there because Rikishi was there.
Yeah. I got my picture there. Anyway,
Yeah.
let's go
And
to
you held the
Stooge.
finger up right.
I did. I didn't put that stupid thumb out.
All right, we have two Stooges, Expo
I
and
don't know
non.
who the second Stooge is. I know who one of the Stooges
Oh,
is.
you'll enjoy it. But
Okay.
it's nobody on Mount Stoogemore. I'll just say that.
Well, I knew that. I knew it wasn't going to be anybody on Mount Stoogemore.
I'm going to start with the Expo Stooge first, Minderz.
Stupid guy.
And it's a guy, I don't know what he looks like. I don't know his name. I didn't bother turning around.
Just remember, I was supposed to have that question.
You were. Hey, what are you doing? Hey,
I was supposed to have that
what are you
question.
doing? You can't go any further than that. She basically walked into a wall. Get back. Get out.
Noodles, I take it?
Yep.
Of course it is.
She's so special. She's still a little bit out of it after coming back from the border yesterday.
She's still mad at you.
Oh no, she forgave us, but she's still getting settled in.
But
anyway, yeah. So we were at the. They have a lot of really cool panels at the expo every year, and the only one that we were able to catch was that I was able to catch. I don't know if you got any other ones.
No, that was the only one I caught, but that was the only one I was really excited and wanted to go to.
Yeah. I wanted the Horseman panel. Apparently, the people that were like moderating weren't feeling well, so they wound up canceling it.
Yeah.
But so we made it to the Jerry Briscoe, John Bradshaw Layfield panel on Saturday afternoon, and
I wanted
everything we hoped for. I missed like the first 5-10 minutes of it.
No, you missed about 15 minutes because
you. 15?
I don't think. Yeah, you.
I was busy trying to get. I was trying to get Luger, so I was like getting.
I wondered what you were doing.
Yeah, but yeah, me and Barry said, "Hey, let's go see a panel." So we did. We needed to sit anyway because out of shape. But there were some questions, nothing real remarkable. You had a good question you wanted to ask, and we thought you were going to get to, but they went with some doofus in the back of the room.
A stooge in the back of the room.
He was a stooge. What was the first thing he said to Jerry Briscoe? And keep in mind, this is Jerry Briscoe we're talking about. Minderz.
About the Sooners.
He congratulated Jerry Briscoe on the Sooners winning the national championship for something.
Yeah.
What's the problem with that, Minderz?
He's not a Sooners fan.
No, Jerry Briscoe's an Oklahoma State guy.
Yeah.
He went to OSU. He didn't go to OU.
Yeah.
And
the heat that guy got.
Oh, this sap got roasted by Bradshaw and Briscoe.
Oh, it was great.
Yeah, so I hope he felt shame.
Now,
and then what was his question? I forget what his question was.
I don't even remember. At that point, I'd already shut him off in my head.
It was kind of a dumb question.
Yeah.
I think it was something about like what Briscoe looks for in amateur wrestlers.
Oh, what he looks for in amateur wrestlers. And I was like,
he doesn't get asked that question all the time. What was your question going to be, Minderz? I was curious because I think this is the same question you were going to ask Bischoff last year.
It's the same one I wanted to ask Bischoff last year. And
it's who asked on his podcast.
That I did ask on his podcast. But my question for JBL and them, because, they grew up in a kayfabe era.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wanted to ask them how they felt. Huh?
Especially Briscoe.
Yeah. And I wanted to ask them how they felt social media has affected the kayfabe of today.
Mm-hmm.
And
the smartass in me says, what kayfabe?
Well, I know, but
no, it was a good question.
We're all wrestling fans there, so I feel like
it's a safe place.
Yeah, if you don't know what it is, then maybe you shouldn't be there. But
yeah, Now, you did manage to go after the panel, and you actually asked this question to Bradshaw at his table.
Mm-hmm.
And what did he say?
He told me that he doesn't think it really has affected kayfabe too much, but he thinks that the boys need to stop being out for themselves all the time. And I thought, okay.
That's a very well-reasoned answer, I thought.
Because I probably almost would have gotten close to getting Stooge of the Week if you would have been up there when I first met them.
No, wait, no, you did tell them that you asked them about the throwing up in Texas thing.
I did. And oh man, Jerry was not happy with me on that one. JBL thought I was great. Jerry was not happy.
But you had to make sure you told Jerry that we had Grappler on the pod.
I explained to him that Grappler had been on the podcast and all that. And they go, that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah. So, yeah.
I gave them her business card too.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right. So, yeah, a lot of fun with Bradshaw and Jerry on Saturday. And you on Friday with Bradshaw and the photo op with Farouk.
Mm-hmm.
All right. The regular Stooge is not so much of a fun one for me, Minderz.
Okay.
It's our buddy Dwayne. Not Carter.
Oh.
Talking Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Oh God, what'd he do now?
He sent out a tweet to our favorite radio host Dave LaGreca, because
oh boy,
Dave is, as you know, Dave has been railing against anything not Cody Rhodes for the better part of a year since last year's WrestleMania.
Right.
And he went on an epic rant after WrestleMania this year about Cena beating Cody and all this stuff, and really carrying on. And,
well, that's Greca. I mean,
well, it's kind of expected from LaGreca.
Exactly.
But then Rock put out this tweet, so he throws this up. You want to read this out loud, Minderz? Because I want to get a fresh set of eyes on it.
Sure. Okay, so The Rock tweeted out, "Hi, Dave. The business is a complete work. Always has been, always will be. Every aspect of it, every match, every interview. Please join me, Cody, Cena, Brian, and the rest of us for our creative discussions so you can expand your perspective. Until then, stop ranting. It's not healthy, my friend. Enjoy the show. P.S. Tell Bubba I have a Grand Marnier and hush puppies for us all."
Okay, now the P.S. I kind of got a kick out of it. Apparently, that's an inside joke with Bubba.
Well, Grand Marnier is alcohol, so yeah.
Right. The other part, how do you feel about The Rock, and the board of directors thing is beside the point, just basically going on social media say, hey, this is all fake?
Yeah, that's kind of a jerk move, but I mean, what do you do?
Yeah,
I mean, WWE's coming out with a freaking show called Unreal, so
this is true. I'll tell you who was not happy with this was Bubba Ray.
I can imagine.
On Busted Open, he was not pleased.
He's not been very happy here lately.
I'm very
anyway.
curious to see what Corny says about this.
We shall see. I'm sure we'll hear.
Somebody's got to say something to Corny about this, but yeah, there's a little too much massaging of the of the protection of the business these days.
Yeah.
And I know it's easy for me to say, considering I'm not in the business and I'm a
right. We're just podcasters.
Host, but,
yeah. But hey, I was gonna say, hey Reb, speaking of Corny, what a segue for that.
Yeah. Would you like to introduce our guest, Minderz?
I would like to introduce our. Wow, are you sure? Because I couldn't even say that. So this
your new tongue, Minderz?
Huh?
First day with your new tongue?
Yeah, something like that. So let's bring him in. Jeremiah Plunkett. Come join us, sir.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Good. How are you? Have you recovered from the weekend yet?
No, worse off actually. I'm filled with steroids and antibiotics and Mucinex. The wife and I both got sick up in Indianapolis.
It's been going around.
You didn't meet her Saturday when I saw you. She had ran a 5K that morning, and by about 2 p.m. was staying up in the hotel room sick, and I got it on the way home.
Oh no! Yuck.
Yeah, I think I got a little bit of that over the weekend myself, so I know it's been going around. But
neither one of us was prepared for the weather.
Yeah.
None of us were prepared for the weather.
Yeah.
Congratulations on your win Saturday
thank
night.
You. Yeah, no, thanks a lot. That was a lot of fun to be back in tagging with Alex and with Deals in our corner again after just over 2 years. We hadn't been able to do that in a while, and I think our match was kind of the hey, let's all have fun and send the people home happy match.
Yeah, I had to do the math a little bit because I thought, wait, Alex is still doing the Southern Six stuff with Morton and Silas. I was like, so I figured that must have been like just a one-off for this show Saturday.
Yeah. I mean, according to the stipulation laid out by the NWA, now who knows how well they follow those nowadays. I haven't been on TV in a while to see. But yeah, no, we're not supposed to be able to team again, at least under the NWA banner.
So SCX they're allowed. So.
But Crazy Steve, I was so glad when Crazy Steve turned on this guy.
Steve and I have done battle for like 8 to 10 years, so it was pretty good to be on the other side for once.
Mm-hmm. So, did you get a chance to meet anybody at the expo that you really wanted to meet, like wrestler wise?
Not especially. It was so wild. Anybody who's never been to the expo, there were so many people in such I say a small space is a large space, but that many people, it seems small. The only person I really spoke to that I didn't know in some form or fashion previously, I probably got to meet Ben Bishop, and got to tell him that his social media, me and Danny Dills both, him and I have both been in the business 20 years this year. And we're like, every time you post something, we know somebody who is that. Especially the shitty indie promoter or whatever his character
that he just posted. Like,
I've worked for that guy so many times.
The one that takes his tax return, and that's how he's gonna support the show. And
there were years, we call it tax return wrestling. Every year about April, I tell the boys, I'm like, there's be companies open up that you'll work one time, but you'll get good money out of it, but they'll only run once.
Yeah. Huh. It does, Reb.
Somebody we know.
Sounds like somebody we know.
Yeah.
All right, Reb, I'm going to let you lead the call on this one. I did it last week. It's your turn.
But you're so good at it. No, I'm kidding. Okay, so I got to think on questions here. So you're still the NWA Mid-American Champion, correct?
Sure am, yes, sir.
I always have to remember what the name of the belt, because the NWA has so many titles out there. But
I agree.
Yeah, how long have you had that title for now?
So do we want to go officially by TV or when the actual taping was? The actual taping was in June. It didn't air till September, so I guess that's the date we honor.
Yeah. I like the June one better. Let's go with the June one. We can go with the June one on here.
Oh, same here. I can celebrate 365 days quicker.
There you go. That's how that works.
There it is.
Did you get to watch any of the matches from Saturday night other than yours?
Watched a little bit of Tom Latimer's match, but that's really about the only one. And because part of it came back through the locker room at some point, we saw Heath and Tom suddenly through the locker room, and we're like, "What's going on?"
Yeah, I was a little surprised when I saw the toilet paper hanging out of Tom's tights when he came back through.
Well, so that's when he walked past us, and Alice turned and looked at me and was like, "Is that toilet paper?"
Well, and then Jack Vaughn broke the lights.
Yeah, we didn't even know that the show had started yet. Match 2 had already went out or come back. I can't remember, but we couldn't hear anything where we were. We changed way in the back of the locker room, and we couldn't hear anything. Period. But we really couldn't hear any music or anything. We're like, that's strange. And Charlene, who refereed our match, she's like, "Hey, two's either in the ring or coming back." I can't remember what she said. She's like, "So you guys had, we're up on 5," and we're like, "The show started?" We're just sitting back there talking and joking around. And she's like, "Yeah, well, we didn't hear anything." She goes, "Oh yeah, the power went out." Okay.
Jack Vaughn came out, started to do his thigh slap, lights went out. That was how it happened.
Yeah, he actually
did it at least time to right when he slapped.
Just about right on.
It should have been thigh slap, lights out, Sabu.
Right. There you go. So say, well, the first match kind of you didn't. The thing with the first match, though, because that was that tag match between Al and Cal, and the Headbangers.
Mm.
And it was over before we really realized it was going.
Yeah.
And we were in the crowd. So there's a little, we're not sure what happened there.
So they were actually changing with us. And like I said, we saw them get dressed. We saw them walk out, but we didn't hear any music or anything. So we just thought they went to the other room because there's a multi-section locker room. And then we didn't see them again until after Charlene came back. So we didn't know that they had already wrestled.
Yeah.
It was maybe 5 minutes in that first match.
That first match was quick.
Yeah. I think the stuff with Al going back and forth with the head was longer than the match itself.
Yeah.
Hey, times are curtain to curtain, Eddie.
That's true. That's true.
So
true.
So a couple of our friends actually didn't make it to the expo this weekend, and we were planning on getting a big get together at your table, and that's the X Bombers. Because apparently it's more important to play gigs than to hang out with your buddies. But
you got to make money.
Yeah, that's true. We got to have a word with them though, because their gig was right where I left. I left Champaign for the expo, and then that's where they were playing that Saturday.
They got to get their timing down a little bit better, and when they play around us, and not let it be when we're going to something big. So
right.
Yeah, they told me that it was a rare close to home gig, and I know how important those are.
Yes.
There's been some new companies opening in Nashville, and I'm really excited to just have a 45-minute drive.
There you go. Say, speaking of the X Bombers, they've written your new entrance song, correct?
They did, yeah. This was something that had been kind of in talks, just very casually, I guess, ever since we filmed Get the Experience, and then one day it was mentioned again, and again I was like, yeah, sure, that sounds cool. And then I went a couple weeks without hearing anything about it, and so I've had that in the past where people who are in bands or whatever said that, and I never heard anything about it. So I never. 20 years in wrestling, you learn never to get your hopes up on anything. And then all of a sudden, I believe Nancy hit up. So it's from the X Bombers account, so I always have to see signs at the bottom to see who I'm speaking with. So I believe Nancy hit me up and was like, hey, here's the rough draft for sending it off for masters. So I was as surprised as anybody. And it was amazing. And the master came in and it was even better. And yeah, so I've been using it for a couple months now on the independents. When they have capable sound people who can download us, I swear, everywhere I go, all of a sudden it's like, oh, do you have a thumbnail? You can't download it? No, not thumbnail, thumb drive. You have a thumb drive? No, are we back doing that? Like, I can send it to you from my Google Drive. I can't download it. Why not? I swear someone's going to ask me for a CD of it soon. We're going to go back in time.
For the days when they had a boom box with a microphone in front of it and you just put a tape in.
Yeah. Now, I never had tape, but I had CD when I first started. I had so many burned CDs with my music on it, and I'd lose one or leave one and then have to make another one.
I don't know if you had heard or not, but they have hit over 1,000.
I did. We've been speaking about trying to schedule that music video shoot, and that's where we're going to run into some issues. I think not issues, just trying to figure out scheduling between two independent contractors who book out gigs.
Yeah,
right.
Who also do most of their work on the weekends.
Right. No problem. That'll be simple. Yeah. What are you talking
about? We've been speaking about it off and on since I got back from the expo. I was first brought up before I went, and I'm like, I'm gonna have a crazy 2 days, so let me talk after.
I would say I think Nancy sent me a message back, and they go, thank you so much for sending us that picture. We're sorry we couldn't have been there, and we're like, yeah, we are too, and yada yada yada. So, but they really enjoyed the picture of all of us. So,
did you guys get to do any of the panels? We had that NWA panel, but I know there's a lot of cool panels I would have loved to sat in on. Obviously, I was chained to a table, but
yeah, the only one we went to was Briscoe and Bradshaw on Saturday.
I thought that one was fun.
Well, it was until Rab,
one
you
guy
got to tell
pissed
the
off.
story again.
Yeah, the last guy that got to ask a question congratulated Jerry Briscoe on the Sooners winning a championship of some sort. I'm not sure which one. Not realizing that Briscoe went to Oklahoma State instead of Oklahoma. So he got roasted a little bit after
He got
said
roasted
that by Briscoe and Bradshaw.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. It was really funny. So he managed to get Stooge of the Week from us. So
if only Jim Ross was in the room too for that, he would have popped.
Oh yeah, yeah. I know he and King had one. I know there was a Horseman one.
The
Horseman one
actually
did not
didn't
happen.
The guys running
Oh, really?
We were 6, so they didn't do it.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I know I saw Arn, JJ, and somebody else walking through the hall, and I thought they were headed toward that, but maybe they're just headed to a table.
They might have been going to their photo op.
They might have been going to the professional photo op that they had.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw all 4 of the horsemen walking around, but yeah, that was the other panel I was planning on doing, but then I found out that it wasn't happening, so it opened up my schedule a little bit.
I would say because they had Under the Learning Tree with Al, and I think there was another one too.
Foley had one, I think.
Foley had one.
That one was great. I talked to a few people who went to that. They said that one was fantastic.
Yeah, Foley's is always good. I was bummed there wasn't an ECW panel this year because that's usually the one I'm most excited to see.
We got limericks from Joel Gertner. They're wonderful. They're wonderful.
He behaved.
Oh, I imagine.
He kind of behaved.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah, we'll be playing one of those later on in the show before too long.
I know I didn't get to see it on the show, but that was what Carson was most excited about on the show. He kept talking about the Joel Gertner limerick.
Yeah, he did a good one because he came out with Soul Shooters. And they went against the Country Gentlemen.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that
he was running from Papa Joe the whole match.
He was running from Papa Joe the whole match. He kept it family friendly. Kind of. But
which I actually got to reconnect with Soul Shooters. I had worked on shows with them previously in, I believe, Petersburg, Illinois, some random Illinois town forever away. And I hadn't seen them probably since, and that would have been 2015, 2016. So it was cool to reconnect with them after 9 or 10 years.
Yeah.
We get to hang out and share a brewski and talk shop.
Now, see, one of the matches Saturday night that I was like, I didn't care who won because not a big fan of either one of them. But it was Enzo and Carson. By the time the match happened, I was actually rooting for Carson, which, believe me, that was not a good taste that came out of my mouth. I did not enjoy that. Did not enjoy that one bit. But it is what it is. So, it's wrestling. You get used to it after a while.
I questioned the taste of the audience.
Was that a thought?
I said I questioned the taste of the audience because they thought that Enzo's belt looked better than the TV belt. And I'm like, you're fools.
Mm-hmm.
All of them.
Enzo had a belt?
It was a homemade,
he brought his own
belt with dollar signs on it. It looked like a Tinker Toy kind of thing.
I got you. Okay.
Yeah.
It looked like something he bought from the dollar store and had them hot glue it together. It was real classy. Yeah.
No, I think this is Carson's second time working with Enzo.
Was it really?
I feel like they've done it somewhere in the past. Maybe I'm wrong. I may be confusing him for Alex. I know Alex did a 3-way with him in New York or something like that too. But Carson's worked with him before.
I was gonna say just kind of running through all the matches. See, and then we had the Rumble, and of course, all of us were rooting for Jake Omen to win that one. They sent the crowd home happy. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah.
Well, same thing with Jake Oman. I hadn't seen him since 2012, 2013 when I was working in OVW. So then I got to reconnect with him a little bit. So it was cool. This is the third year I've been invited to the expo, and only the first year I could make it. So it was really good to go and like reconnect with all these people that I haven't seen in a long time.
Yeah. We're getting that with some of the fans that we see out there every year now. Minderz, we're seeing familiar faces now that we just pick up like we never stopped having a conversation with them.
Yeah, we have a couple of them. I think you might. You might know Craig Hansen.
Possibly.
He was walking around with us quite a bit this weekend. And then we actually ended up making some new friends that we ended up adding to our little group. So our group has now grown from what started out being 4 to now I think we're at 7.
7 or 8, yeah.
7 or 8 that are, well, and if our other friends would have actually made it, we would have been to 10.
Yeah.
So we've got a nice little group we've got coming together now. So it's all right. And then, of course, when they have some of the people like the Diner Podcast guys, I don't know if you had a chance to meet them or not. They were in the hall, like outside of your room. But the Diner Podcast guys, we know them because they're from around here. And so, we'd run into them or they'd run into us and we'd say things along the way and hang out with them at the after party and everything else. But Reb,
yeah, that after party was something. I never got into the karaoke room. I never knew where it was.
Well, where did you make it? Did you make it to the hallway?
I went to the bar. That's where I was told everybody was, and then they were like, "There's karaoke." I'm like, "Where?" No one ever told me.
It was in the big
panel room
where the panels are.
Where the panels are at.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the panel room.
Yeah. The bar in there. I think it was Thrasher was pretty much running the bar on Friday.
Yeah.
And then
I crashed out Friday.
Ken Anderson was feeling no pain. I'm just going to say that on Friday.
Yeah, Anderson was feeling no pain, and the headbangers.
He wasn't Saturday either.
Yeah, right. But and then the headbangers were they were giving me a hard time on Friday night. Although I will say Friday night, I got to talk about it again, Rep, because it's probably the best thing that happened. One of the best things that happened was Will Ospreay actually came into the karaoke room. And he hung out with everybody and was just a super nice guy. But yeah, we didn't have high hopes. And by the time we left, we think he might be one of our new favorites. So we're good.
Yeah.
Now I did hear Papa Joe Anna sang some karaoke.
He was singing with Carson, I think.
Yes, they did Boot Scootin' Boogie is what I was told the next day.
I think Carson was trying to convince everybody that Joe was his grandfather. Is that what he said?
His father. He was trying to convince everybody he was his father. That was entertainment.
Yes.
That was entertainment. But that's kind of what we expect anymore from. I think those are the after parties are probably my favorite things. Just because you get to hang out with everybody and
everybody kind of lets their hair down a little bit.
Or gets
you see how wild they all get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. It's a lot. Well, Saturday night, I hung out with Blue Meanie most of the night.
That
was a lot of fun. Yeah.
Took the blue out.
The white meanie. He took the blue out, so it was all white. But yeah, we hung out with the Blue Meanie.
He's been wizened by time, Minderz.
He has. He has been.
Well, I'm sure that makes dyeing the hair blue easier.
Oh, I'm sure it does.
Well, Minderz would know better than I would.
Yeah, I got a few different colors in mine. But so you want to do it next year? Let's do it again next year. You want to do Expo again next year?
I would love to. The first year that we were invited, what was it? We're booked, we're announced, and then NWA decides to do a show that weekend.
Oh, wow.
So that's what I always worry about when I get asked if I want to do it, is if that's going to happen. This year there were so many NWA talents on it that I didn't think that was going to happen, and it didn't. So I was glad about it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I definitely want to be back, because I was
I think
Ed and Heather, the work they put in on that.
I think Ed had actually talked to NWA and made it to where they knew a lot of the talent was going to be there and made it that way. I like that idea. The only one I did miss from NWA that was still title holder, I believe, was Max the Impaler. I wish Max would have been there.
Gosh, I'm trying to remember.
No, Max wasn't there.
No, I know Max wasn't there. I'm just trying to remember if Max is still a title holder.
That's what I was.
Well, Max dropped the TV title to Carson, but I think they still had the women's TV title, don't they?
Maybe. I'm not sure how they did that. If they just unified the whole thing, or if they kept them. I don't know how they did that.
Yeah, it's a question for the sinister minister, I think.
Yeah. You mean that guy?
Yeah.
I wish Sinman would have been there. Then you could have seen some fun at the after party.
Yeah. I like Sinman.
Sinman should have hosted karaoke. That's what he does in his daily life.
That would have been a blast. I'm not going to lie. That would have been a lot of fun. But yeah, I'll tell you what, we do this every year and we come off of this like big high and then we're like, okay, now we got to watch more wrestling and we get into more and more stuff and it's just like.
So have y'all been to all of them, all 5?
I started going year 2.
And I started going year 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, we missed
I missed the first and the second the first one I was invited to.
Yeah. Because we did, and it's been a trip. Well, poor Reb last year, he ended up in line for Sting for 4 hours.
It was like 3.5, 4 hours.
Ooh.
Yeah.
If I didn't need my belt sign, I wouldn't have stuck it out. But he was really cool when I got the chance to meet him. So I'm glad I did it.
So were there any lines like that this year, or did they seem to have it where it's boom, boom, boom?
I think Brett was probably the biggest line.
Brett was probably the biggest line.
I think Angle had a big line too. But
his wasn't that bad because it only went out the door and down the hall a little ways. It didn't go down the hall very far. Where I think Brett's kind of did what Sting's did, where it went down the hall, then around to the other side. And I don't know what Will's looked like because we didn't get back over there in time to see how long his line was.
No, we just did the photo op. We were good with it.
I've learned that when it's the big names, you're better off just to do the pro photo ops. So in that way, you only have to wait. I think the longest we waited in line was probably, half an hour?
If that, yeah.
And that was for Will and Hendry.
Yeah.
But that's like the longest you have to wait in line. And then I lucked out because when I went through, to hit Hurt Syndicate, because Shelton was there not too far from you. Yeah. And I just so happened that when I walked through, their line was empty. So I got right over.
Yeah.
And I tried to time it that way. I've got to where I figured out, okay, who's here both days? Who's here only certain days? And then even if there's ones only on Saturday, I'll go ahead and hit the ones that were there on Friday too, because a lot of the people will have already hit them or are going to hit them after they get their Saturday only. So that's how I kind of worked it. I don't think I waited any longer than 10 minutes for anybody.
Yeah, I was really surprised with the amount of people and everything, how well oiled everything is.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's a credit to Ed and Heather and the people they employed, put in charge. And
it's amazing how well it goes.
They get it more and more figured out every year, it seems like.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking to Ed first day. I'm like, dude, you're so calm. I was like, I would be pulling my hair out. He goes, we've been pulling our hair out for months. So
I was saying, we had Heather on 2 weeks before.
Yeah.
2 weeks before. And she was like, she was so sick of putting lanterns together because that's what she had been doing. And she's like, the cats won't leave them alone.
Right.
I'm so sick of it.
Just imagine if the raccoon was in the house.
Right.
Although the raccoon might have been helpful because they have, the opposable fingers.
True.
Yeah. Then we had Adolfo on before that, and
yeah,
I don't think we saw him stop moving for a minute at any given time over the entire weekend. He was constantly moving, doing things, organizing. So, and he had to fly back to Seattle afterwards. So, I'm hoping he got a little bit of a break.
Yeah, well, I saw where Ed said he had 17 hours of uninterrupted rest, and I bet he needed every bit of it.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure.
I saw Heather the next morning. I didn't see Ed the next morning. I'm not saying he wasn't up yet, but he wasn't feeling any pain at the end of Saturday night. So.
I was gonna say he was feeling pretty good Saturday.
When I said good night and thank you to him, brother was feeling good.
Well, see, and then that
Plus he was in the Rumble.
Yeah, he was in the Rumble.
I laughed at him too because the first time I met him was supposed to be his last match.
Yeah.
We asked Heather because Heather did a match the year before. She had wrestled. And we asked her, that was our first question. We're like, okay, are you doing a match this year? And she was like, no, I'm going to sit back, watch, and relax. And we were like, all right, you do that, hun.
When I heard Ed was going to be in the Rumble, my first thought was, okay, who backed out?
Yeah, that was mine too. We wondered who backed out.
His response was, it was hard to get 30 guys. I'm like, I'm sure you could ask some people to do more than one match.
Yeah.
Right.
I wondered if maybe that was supposed to be Moose because Chavo backed out of the crew match.
I'd say since Chavo pulled out of that, the crew match, they had to add, Moose took it over, and it was like, all right, cool.
Hell of a match, too.
I would say when I left Saturday night, I think I got back to my hotel about 3. When I left in the bar, Ben Bishop was still there. Dalton McKenzie was still there. And Heather was still there. But Heather was getting ready to go to bed. So we were all starting to disband at about that time. Only 3 a.m.
Yeah, I think I tapped out at like 1.
Yeah.
That was about my time as well. I started leaving at 12:30, and then it was the last minute. Oh, we got to get pictures before we all go to bed, and stuff like that.
Yeah. So, so one more NWA question before we let you get out of here, because I know you got a heart out. But we got the Crockett Cup coming up at the middle of May. Are you going to be involved in that at all this year? Do you know?
I haven't been booked or announced as of yet.
Okay.
So, not that I know of, but that could change. I've literally been booked week of before, so I never know.
Wow. Well, a couple of our buddies I've seen some people that have been booked for it. I'm excited. Size Matters is in it. I'm excited to see. Yeah. I'm excited for those guys. We love Sam.
Yeah, he's a friend of the show. He's been on here a couple times. Actually, 3 times, I think, now.
Yeah. I think we did one of Fuego del Sol's last podcast, too.
Yeah.
Before he quit. That was fun. But, Rev, why don't we...
I'm sorry?
Yeah, he left his boots in the ring at that match at GCW.
At the spring break.
At spring break.
Yeah, it sounds like he wants to spend some time with the family and get out of it for a bit. So,
okay, that's surprising to me just because he just wrestled one of my students like a month or 2 ago, so I had no idea.
Who's that?
Well, this would have been last week.
David Graves.
Okay.
Yeah, they worked in Arkansas.
Yeah, this was last week, WrestleMania weekend at Joey Janela's spring break.
Yeah, Atticus Cogar.
He had Atticus Cogar.
Okay.
In a career.
That shows you how out of the loop I am.
Yeah. Well, we wouldn't have been in the loop, but we kind of covered it all in the independent shootout, which that was an hour and a half of just naming off names because there was so.
Yeah, we just listed off all the shows going on WrestleMania weekend. It took like an hour and a half.
It was ridiculous.
Yes.
And then Reb made me watch the clusterfuck.
I did because I had to. You had to also.
Was this the year that they had all the like legends in the clusterfuck? Or was that a different show?
That was a different show. That was the senior scramble. It was like
that's it.
Oh
like
my
Ricky Morton
goodness!
and I think Tony Atlas, some other guys. I was hoping for Tommy Rich, but he wasn't in it.
No.
Wasn't he on the flyer?
I don't.
He was on the flyer.
Ricky Morton was on the flyer.
No, Tommy Rich was too, but he wasn't there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think
because Gilbert was on the flyer, and they always travel together.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, and then the little punk ass kid that came out during it. What's that doofus's name? Morton's son. Isn't it Morton's son?
Kerry Morton.
Yeah, that little
Kerry.
prick. That little prick. He came out and tried to ruin it. Shit. Tell you what.
Yeah.
Well, when I saw that book, I was like, I wonder how many of these guys have not ever even been in a multi-man match.
Right?
And that wasn't a
Right?
thing back in their day.
No, like three-ways weren't popularized until the 90s.
Yeah, like mid-90s. Yeah, 94, I think. I think Paulie was the first one to do it in ECW.
Yeah, so I was just a wild thing. I could see him trying to figure that out.
Yeah, but the cluster, we got to talk to my favorite part. I did have a favorite part of the clusterfuck, even though the Invisible Man was in it, and I can't. I can't. It's so dumb. I can't. But Snitsky was in it. And he kicked a baby in. I was so excited.
Was that the GCW show? Because I guess he was on the Black Label Pro show Friday night and did something with a baby. Is what someone told me. I didn't get to see it.
He punted a baby in like the main room during
He punted
the
one
convention.
in the main room.
Oh, maybe that's it. I saw Snitsky and I was like, oh wow, Snitsky's here. They're like, yeah, he kicked or threw a baby. Fantastic.
He knows what his audience likes.
I bought a baby. I bought a baby.
So
Okay.
Was he selling the baby, or did you bring the baby doll for him to sign?
No,
He was selling babies.
He was selling babies.
Genius.
Isn't it
Exactly.
genius? I thought it was great. As soon as I walked up to his table and I go, I'm buying a baby. I'm buying a baby.
As soon as you saw the big stack of them behind him, I saw the wheels turning.
Genius.
And then my other favorite thing I got signed this week.
Shark Boy?
It's Shark Boy and Curry Man. I got both of them to sign the fish.
Oh, yeah. I forgot Curry Man was also there. Yes, because I saw Sharky. I guess he was in the Rumble.
Yeah.
I knew he was there. I saw him running around, but I guess he's in the Rumble.
Yeah.
That's why we're in that back locker room and didn't see a lot of people, because there's so many people in the Rumble. But we're just like, we're going to go. We're essentially changing in like the big kitchen area or something like that.
Right. Yeah. But no, Curry Man, I asked him, I said, would you please sign this as Curry Man? And he goes, absolutely. And then, of course, Reb, do you have that? There it is. There's our picture.
Nice.
So now I just have to wait until I meet Devon and Bubba again and get them to sign the other side of the fish. So then I'll have it for the
Fish Market Street
Fish
Fight.
Market Street Fight. So I'll have it all signed and ready to go.
Tremendous. I love the wacky stuff in wrestling, and like the guys who will embrace it and like go off of it, like Snitsky selling. That's so funny and so brilliant.
Well, let's see. So those were my two big things this year. And then when Nigel was there last year, I got an iron. I think I got the last one too, honestly.
You might have.
But yeah. They had some very interesting. Gertner was selling limericks. You could buy a limerick for $40. Mick had his Sacos. I was trying to think of some of the ones. I was disappointed though. We went to Curry Man's table and he wasn't selling Curry Man masks, so we were a little disappointed. But is what
There was a giant setup in that middle room that was nothing but masks.
Yeah,
I saw that when I was trying to figure out, because no one told me where the ring was, so I was trying to find where the ring was, and I cut through there, and I saw that, and I bet they made a killing.
Oh yeah, they make money hand over fist at that table.
Because I just know kids see a mask and.
Well, because I actually got this shirt from Tito.
Right on.
So
we grew up in the elevator with Tito, and my wife does not know wrestling, and we're just sitting there having a conversation because Tito's the nicest guy in the world.
Oh, he's a pretty.
Every time I've met him, he's such a gentleman. And we get out, and she goes, "That man was nice." I'm like, "Do you realize who that man was?" She goes, "No." I go, "Tito Santana." She goes, "Who?" I go, "Exactly." But
Tito was my first favorite wrestler when I was a kid, when I first started watching. So
Tito ruled.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think the only real thing I bought at the expo, I got this this belt when I was there. I always have to get a belt when I go.
There's a belt dealer there, which is almost like a drug dealer to Reb and Bari. Like both of them are like.
That's the first stop we have to make.
That's the first stop they make every year.
Is it a like a well-known dealer or no? Or
I don't know. It's just
it's the one that's there every year, and he usually has a whole bunch of the action figures and the Funko Pops. He has a lot of different stuff over there.
Okay.
But they're like,
it's not just a belt guy.
Right.
Okay.
But it's the one that, well, he knows Bari now by name. So that is what it is. But we shall see. But yeah. So was there, so what are you looking for? What do you got coming up now? Now that the expo's over, what we got coming up?
I've got a show that I'm hoping these steroids work out for and get me going. This Friday, local, in Gladeville, Tennessee. Just a little something local for a buddy of mine. I'm trying to think what I have going up. My brain's so fried. Just from
kind of the way ours was when we came back. Yeah, we were like, okay, we need some sleep.
I was fried there, but
yeah.
Because there's no sleep. You stay up talking to your buddy, and then you look and you're like, oh, it's 2 a.m.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. By the way, you need to be back downstairs by 9. What? Wait, what?
Well, and my wife ran that 5K, so I was up at 6 while she was getting ready. Not wrestling related. I'm going to see Hamilton next week.
I've heard that's good.
So very excited. So I've got a show May 10th. This is probably the biggest one coming up. In a town in Missouri, and I'm just excited for it because of the town's name, Cooter, Missouri. When the guy booked me, I thought he was teasing me. I'm like, there's no real place called that. Just look it up. Oh, it is real. Okay.
Now, how far is that from St. Louis?
I believe it's a ways because it's right on the little boot that comes down into like Tennessee.
Gotcha.
So it's right outside West Tennessee.
Gotcha. I was going to say, because Backlash is the 10th, too. And it's in St. Louis.
Oof. We'll see.
Yeah. Well, not only that, but up around here, I literally think every promotion that we cover for the independent wrestling shootout, I think every group is running a show on the 10th. I'm like, it's nothing like making people choose from 14 different places to go.
Right.
I've seen it work both ways. I've seen it where it helps, and I've seen it where it hurts. I worked a show that ran against Night One of Mania this year, and I was like, oh, because Mania is normally early April, and it was so late this year.
Yeah.
And I just booked it, not realizing it was Mania weekend, and I was pleasantly surprised. They had a good crowd.
Yeah.
I did not expect it.
That's what threw off the expo because the expo was originally planned for last week,
the 19th and 20th. Yeah.
But then when WrestleMania got announced, they had to move it.
The expos usually always ran Easter weekend.
Yeah.
So
See, I thought that was the case.
Yeah. But since WrestleMania, which I can understand because you figure most of the guys that were there were probably out in Vegas.
Yeah.
You know what I don't have in here that I got that Bari picked up for me? I got a tugboat hat sign. I have a signed tugboat hat. I'm so excited. I love Uncle Fred. Yeah.
I understand why he didn't, but he had an opportunity to do the funniest thing ever at the Hall of Fame. If you go to the step walking on the stage, the is tripped. I'd have died. I'd have lost it. But it was more important to pay tribute to Tenta, but I still would have laughed tremendously.
I'm not sure he could have got back up because he walked out with that cane and holding on to his son.
Yeah.
So
yeah, he's not getting around the best anymore, unfortunately.
Yeah. But Reb, how about we let our guest go? He's still he's not feeling the greatest. He's got things he's had to get done. Let's give this guy a break. I'm sure we'll get him back on again sometime.
We will definitely.
I'm gonna go take more Mucinex.
Yeah.
All right, you go do that.
Thanks, guys. It was good seeing you this weekend.
Yes, sir.
You too. Thanks, Jeremiah.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
See ya.
Aw, it's always fun to have him on.
Yeah.
It's nice to know we're not the only ones though with the kind of sniffles
Allergies.
a little bit. Yep.
All right. Well, Minderz, let's say we pay some bills real quick, and then we'll come back because we still got to talk about Raw. We got to talk about the TNA pay-per-view.
LFG.
LFG.
I got to get caught up on 2 episodes of LFG.
Yeah. So let's do that once we come back after we pay some bills here.
And well, it is I, the lyrical miracle, the sexual, intellectual, the cunning linguist, and the quintessential stud muffin, Joel. She already got a limerick from me, but that wasn't enough for Minderz, you see. Instead, she wanted her own personal rhyme. It's something other than that rhythmic, smooth motion that I give her from time to time. Gertner.
You asked for it.
I did. I told you we had to.
Hey, also thanks to Joel. He did one for our Extreme F and Review podcast that is going to be the open to our next episode this Friday.
It is.
So, how cool was he?
Very cool. 2 other people I want to point out though that we didn't talk about but were awesome was One Man Gang and Slick.
Yes.
Gang was, and you know what? We got pretty much all of our recognition. Let's see. Wait, I sent you mine too. Why do you not smile? Why are you guys not smiling?
I look like an idiot when I smile.
Okay. But yeah, they were a lot of fun. Especially, like I said. And you know what though? I am still kind of bummed. I should have got that Let's Start a Cult shirt.
Yeah, that's
I'm kicking myself. I'm kicking myself for it. Really, really want to get it. All right.
All right.
What do we
Okay. Real quick before we get into that stuff, I do want to point out we tried to do something we're kind of nerdy for it, but we made certificates, Minderz, for some of our Hall of Famers that were there. Just for an example, there's Tito receiving his. Most of them, I think there was like, oh, bless their hearts. Akeem seemed genuinely moved from what you told me.
Oh, he was. He thanked us. He's like, we don't normally get our flowers, so I appreciate it. Blah blah blah. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
He's like, we don't usually get things at this. We give things. We don't get things. And
like, Lex Luger was very appreciative when I gave him his. Also,
Farouk liked his a lot.
A lot of it was kind of in the class, like, okay, that's cute, kind of,
right?
But it's all he's allowed.
JBL liked his.
Yeah. So, there's a couple we didn't get. We didn't get a chance to get Brett his for Heart Foundation, and Jim Ross. I don't think he was.
I don't think he would have known if we were there or not.
Jim was. I guess he was being wheeled around most of the weekend. Well, on Friday when he was there, but I was just glad to get the picture with him and the King.
Did I send you ours?
No, you didn't.
Minderz?
No, you didn't send me the one of you and Akeem either.
I could have swore I did.
But yeah, they're there. I like that they had the table with the microphones for the picture.
I did too.
And then what else was there? Oh,
well, I sent you that one already. What about our Joe? Do you have our Joe?
Joe's up. There's Joe.
Okay.
I think I was more excited to get a picture with the belt than Joe himself.
Yeah, and you wouldn't stop talking, so the photographer yelled at you.
Of all the people to get in trouble for talking, it's me.
Right? It wasn't me for once.
I don't say too much to anybody. These pictures up here.
And I won't shut up half the time. You ought to be used to that though by now. Did you already put that one up? Sorry.
Yeah, because I already had that one. Because I found the link for it.
Man, how much fun was that, having to go through everybody's picture to find yours?
I actually was surprisingly good at it.
You would be.
I just kind of figured out what time we went in there, and I was pretty close. Oh wait,
I didn't do too bad, but it was still. While I was riding on the way home, that was what I was flipping through the the pictures.
Yeah, there it is. Okay.
Oh, Mick Foley really liked his too, because I got Mick Foley his certificate. There we go. See.
And then, but I think my favorite picture of the whole weekend was me and Bari. We got to get our picture with the horseman. You got left, right, Arn, Tully, then JJ and Wyndham. And Arn expressed appreciation to me for wearing my Mongo jersey for that one. Which
I figured he probably would.
Yeah.
Was it JJ that was in the wheelchair?
No. JJ was pretty much walking, but gingerly.
Okay. He was the slow walker.
I think Jim Ross was the one that was getting wheeled around.
No, it was one of the four horsemen.
If it was one of them, it would have been JJ.
Okay, then it was probably. I think it was JJ.
Maybe I just didn't see it, but yeah, Arn and Luger both were all for talking about Mongo when I met them.
Aww.
Yeah, Luger made a point to point out Mongo was one of a kind and all that. And
yeah,
I got a friend that was friends with Mongo, so he's always good for a story or two.
Put up the one of me and Barry and JR.
Oh, did you send it?
And yeah, it was in that group of three.
Oh, there it is. There it is. Give me just a second.
I'm telling you, if y'all get the chance, I hate the fact that I'm not much taller than them and they're sitting down.
Yes. Well, the crown helps. It makes them seem taller.
When I walked up there, I told him.
Barry looks like he has a fade, by the way. He has a flat top.
I know. I noticed that. But no, when I walked up there, I was like, this is my childhood.
It is.
It is my childhood. So that was fun. Jerry goes, well, I'm glad we can make your dreams come true. And I said, well, thank you. He was such a sweetheart. He was nice. JR didn't say much.
No, Jerry was the vocal one of the two.
Yeah, he definitely was.
Yeah.
All right, let's quit talking Expo.
All right, yeah, we got stuff to move on to.
I just knew we needed to say something about One Man Gang and Slick, though, because we had a blast at their table, too.
Yeah. Let's talk LFG, Minderz.
All right.
We got 2 episodes worth to talk about here.
Yeah, I don't know I don't know if they played one, if they played 2 this past weekend or what.
Well, there wasn't one last week.
I know, but there was 2 new ones. So maybe they were just
making up for the schedule to...
Maybe. This week's episode was called Expect the Unexpected. So as we know, Cutler and BJ do not get along, so Bubba made the stipulation. He said, okay, you guys are going to have a match. One stays, one goes. So he'd be back down to his original 4. So that ended up being the last match. We had Tyra May Steele versus Lee Laurel.
From Booker's team?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, Lee's from Booker's team. Tyra's from Taker's team.
Okay.
The champion chick. Why do you look confused?
I'm not. I'm good.
Oh, okay. Well, you look confused. That's why I kept explaining. Okay. Anyway, so what the thing was they had to plan for the unexpected.
Mhm.
How you plan for the unexpected? I'm not 100% sure how you do that, but
If you knew, you wouldn't be unexpecting it.
exactly. So Tyra May Steele versus Leah Laurel. So the thing that went wrong during their match was one of the top rope broke. So the buckle broke. So they had to finish their match. It wasn't a great match regardless. The buckle breaking was probably the best thing that happened in that match, honestly. It was not good. Tyra May's starting to get a little attitude about her, like she thinks she's better than everybody else. She's kind of losing humbleness about her. So she's starting to get on some people's nerves.
The wrong people?
Yeah. Like Taker's not real happy with her. And that's her coach. So he feels like she's taking steps backwards, and that when they chose her as the main one, like because she was the one that got to choose her coach was at the beginning, he's starting to think maybe they made a mistake. So next match they had was Drake Moreau versus Troy Yearwood. And it was okay. The match was okay. I'm actually really surprised though that you didn't have Naomi as one of your stooges after the punches that she threw on Jade on SmackDown.
I thought about it. I really did.
You could put Troy in that spot because he did the exact same thing to Drake.
Ugh.
There was air and you could see it. It was bad. He started doing some punches, but they were standing up and he wasn't reaching him. But their thing was that they called for 3 extra minutes for a 4-minute. They were supposed to have a 4-minute match, and the back radioed in and said 3 extra minutes. So they had to fill an extra 3 minutes.
And did they do it effectively?
They made it through it. It was fine. But like Drake threw Troy out of the ring to buy some time. And they said, no, that was your chance to shine. Y'all should have just went for it and called it in the ring. Then they had a mixed tag.
Okay.
Who is she? Oh, we know. Naomi. Oh, we know. We'll talk about it here in a minute. Chris Island and P Nasty versus Xena and Shiloh. So, it was easily the best match out of the 3. And this one, the unexpected was that the power went out 3 times during the match. So they ended up having to like wrestle in a spotlight. I was very proud of them that they all kind of kept to the light. Like even with some of their bigger stuff, like there were things that did happen that you couldn't see what had happened, but they always tried to get back to that where that light was at. Yeah. And actually, like people were even turning their phones, flashlights on, trying to help.
Like we did Saturday.
Yeah, like we did Saturday. So for that week, the points went to Xena and Shiloh. So, and Shiloh is on Taker's team. Xena is on Bubba's team. Yep. Because Xena right now is the only one that's gotten points for Bubba's team. And they're up to 5, I believe. So she's gotten all 5 points.
So is Bubba in the lead now?
No, Take's still in the lead. He's got like 7 or 8. I don't remember. Okay. And then they had the one stays, one goes match, Cutler versus BJ. Bubba was the only one that got to make a decision on this. Booker and Mickey both said that BJ talks too much and he can't back it up. Cutler says that BJ gets blown up. BJ says that he has to sell like crazy for Cutler. Blah, 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 blah. Anyway, I thought it was going to be a spoiler because we all know now that Cutler James is on NXT.
He's in Dark State.
He's in Dark State. But Cutler went home. So apparently he impressed somebody.
Yeah.
So that was...
Well, Sean's a regular visitor to LFG.
He's always there. Yeah, he's there every week. He sets it all up. So, Sean, I'm getting there. So this, the next one was The Name Says It All. They actually brought in AJ Styles because, he's known as the phenomenal one.
This is the second episode on Sunday.
Yes, this is the second episode. We got Danny, which is on Mickey's team. She's going as the shooting star. Tatiana on Bubba's team, the Golden Standard, which irritated Tyra May Steele because, she's the gold medal award winner or whatever.
Gold medalist, yeah.
Yep. Now, Reb.
Uh-huh.
I know you watch some boxing.
I love boxing.
Okay. I'm going to say this. Now, I want to, and just think of who all are on these teams, right?
Okay.
Tyra May Steele.
Uh-huh.
She's calling herself the real deal.
Mm-hmm. Now, stop me if I'm wrong. Is Elijah Holyfield on her team?
Yep.
Wasn't his father, the legendary Evander Holyfield, called the real deal?
Yep.
Did Elijah react to this at all?
Not as, like I would have hoped. Actually, Booker was the one that kind of threw a bigger fit than anybody else.
Did he say, "Oh, hell no"?
He shook his head, and the producers of the show actually asked him what was wrong. So, yeah. Elijah kind of did his thing. He is the warrior. Elijah Holyfield, warrior.
I feel like he could have done better, but I mean, we'll see.
Here's what this is what I'm kind of thinking. And correct me if you think I'm wrong. I think he's trying to use his dad's name without using his dad's name. Does that make any sense?
It does make sense. I get where you're going here.
Like, he wants to stand on his own 2 feet, but he realizes that, yes, he is Evander Holyfield's son.
Here's the thing. He kind of made that name his in college football too, though. So he's already branded that name to his resume also. I mean, granted, not on the level of his dad, but
right.
You talk to anybody that watched college football in the last 10 years, they know who Elijah Holyfield is. Right.
He's still so good. I really like Elijah a lot. A lot. So they did tag teams. We had Zeta and Tatiana. So Bubba's team versus Nikki's team.
What was Zeta's name that she went with?
Okay, I kind of thought hers was brilliant, but I thought it was dumb at first.
Okay.
She came up with, she is the oxymoron.
Okay.
Now, you've heard me talk about Zeta.
Yes.
And that she's kind of the dumb blonde.
She was the cheerleader,
Barbie, right? Huh?
Was she the cheerleader?
No, that's Danny.
Okay.
Zeta's just kind of, she was the one that was
She's the bubbly blonde on Bubba's team.
Yes. Sign Guy Dudley's daughter.
Right.
Okay. Hey, that's the best way I can explain
it's fitting. It's ironic though, because Sign Guy was silent, and for what I've heard, Zeta is not. Yeah.
No, that's the reason that it's hers, because she says she loves words.
Mm-hmm. Words are great.
Yeah. But yeah. So anyway, hers is the oxymoron. Her whole idea behind this was that when you first see her, everybody seems to think she's a moron.
Mm-hmm.
She's actually quite brilliant in the ring. She's amazing.
I hear Bubba put her over every week on Busted Open for the work she puts in.
He says she's going to be a star. She will be a star. Whether it's from LFG is yet to be determined.
Right.
but she will be a star.
She's impressing the right people.
She is. Tatiana, on the other hand,
Not so much.
I mean, she's not bad, but she's
not standing out.
No, she's not. And then they went against Danny and Serena.
Okay, who are
Danny
on?
is the cheerleader.
Mickey's team.
Mickey's team.
Okay.
Serena is calling herself the Little Devil.
The little. Oh, I thought you said Red Devil earlier.
Little Devil. Sorry.
So she's kind of trying to kiss up to Taker.
Little bit, maybe a little bit. And then Danny, of course, is a shooting star.
Right. Does she do the shooting star press?
She does not. Yeah, believe me, that was brought up in the episode too. That she didn't do a shooting star. Now, Sean,
Is she
I
going
know
to use Bad Company's Shooting Star as her entrance music?
They just came out to their regular music. Hey,
Understood.
Sean, help me out. What was Jasper Troy's name? Because I don't remember.
Well, anything but Jasper's an improvement, I would say.
BJ was like the West Coast gangsta.
Oh, please.
Yeah, it was bad.
Let's call him Douche Canoe McGee.
Right? Please.
Yeah.
It just make it easier. Drake is our Cajun boy, which he's the one that has comes out with beads
like
and comes
Big
out
Bray
like
Wyatt
New
looking guy.
Orleans. Yeah. And they went against Anthony Luke and Jasper Troy. I don't know what's happened to Anthony's not really impressing people anymore either.
Now, who is he banging? I forget.
He is Maxine.
Is he getting cocky because she's on TV?
I don't know. See, he's been there for almost a year.
Damn it, Sean.
Damn you, Sean. Hold on. Let me see if I can.
It's all good. I don't know either, so I can't really criticize.
Well, there's some of these that I can't remember.
Yeah.
Like Anthony Luke was like the superstar. It was something dorky. Kind of like Chris Islands. I don't. Both of them were kind of
lazy.
Yeah.
Did they have time to think about this before the episode, or did they get sprung on at the start of the episode?
No, they actually sat down with the coaches, and the coaches kind of like they could have ideas. They threw ideas out, yeah, but some of them were quite interesting.
Well, as a guy who's had to come up with band names over the years, I know it's not easy.
Right. No,
if you're under fire, you got to find something that fits. That sounds cool.
I did like Bailey's.
It's original. What's Bailey's?
Bailey's is the Bone Crusher, which makes sense. That works. Tyra's, of course, was the real deal. Panina's is P Nasty.
That's what she's been going with.
But that's what she's been going by the whole time. I can't remember what Lee's was. Zeta ended up getting a point. I remember that, and I think I want to say it was maybe Elijah that got the point for his too.
Okay.
Because it was Shiloh and Elijah versus Chris Island and Troy Yearwood.
Shit.
What?
And I hope Imananka's not hurt.
What?
Oh, the pitcher for the Cubs got taken out by the trainer, so I'm hoping that's not an injury.
Ew.
Sorry,
anyway,
I'm trying to multitask.
Nope. That's where we're at. Next week starts eliminations, so they're going to start taking people off the team.
Can we hope BJ Ray is the first one out?
Oh, I'm keeping my fingers crossed.
Are they doing one an episode or two an episode?
They didn't really explain it. They said they would go into it more next week. And I can't remember. I know Taker's still in the lead, followed by Booker, and then Bubba, and then Mickey. Mickey right now is at 3 points only.
Oh, okay.
But she hasn't gotten a point since Danny hurt her back.
Oh, was Danny kind of her ace?
Yeah. But ever since she hurt her back, I take that back. Bailey did not get the point. I think Serena got the point, honestly. I don't remember. It was Bailey because Serena was the other one that was up for it. And I think Jasper Troy might have got the point for the guys.
Okay.
Anyway, they're all up there. Mickey's in the back now.
She's bringing up the rear, as they say.
Yep, she's bringing up the rear.
Okay. All right.
So there's your LFG. I'll have more next week.
Yay. Thank you very much, Minderz. I'm glad one of us is watching that show.
I like it. I think it's actually really good.
Yeah, I don't get A&E, so that's why I don't watch it. But
Well, I get Sling, so.
Yeah. All right. Well, anyway, Minderz, we did have a pay-per-view over the weekend, Sunday, TNA Rebellion in Los Angeles.
I told you I got most of it watched.
Yeah, I went back. I watched it today. I know we have thoughts. And
Yep.
I want to make sure I have this handy. Yeah, that's what I want. Okay, so starts off with Moose, I guess we'll call him the Iron Man of the weekend.
I guess there was a pre-show. I didn't watch the pre-show.
Yeah, I think it was Elijah had like an open challenge or something. I forget who it was.
Yeah, it was one of the TMDK guys. Wasn't Zach.
Shane Haste?
Yes, Haste. That was
Okay.
it. That was it.
Okay, would be him or Mikey Nichols.
It wasn't Mikey Nichols. It was Haste.
Okay. Well, the main show starts with the Ultimate X match for the X Division title. And
now, knowing this was going to be a bunch of flippy shit, it didn't bother me.
Right. Yeah. So it's Moose, Cardona, Casey Navarro, Leon Slater,
Reggie,
Sidney Akeem, and
Vikingo.
Thank you. 3 flippy guys and 3 non-flippy guys, basically, in the match.
Who was the other non-flippy guy? All 4 of those guys are flippy.
Oh, yeah, I guess you're right. I don't know why I thought. I keep thinking Flop Doggo was in the match. He was just at ringside.
No, he was just at ringside being a dick.
He was there to help catch at one point on the show. There were 2 kickoff matches. I don't remember what the other one was.
The other one was triple. It was 6-man.
Ah. All right. So I guess we should talk about the elephant in the room, which is Leon Slater.
You know what? I was actually rooting for him until he did this shit.
Bubba had thoughts today.
I had flashbacks. It was not a fun time.
Are you visions of powder kegs dancing in your head there?
Ugh. No, I have visions of powder kegs falling off freaking ladders.
Right. I didn't think literally dancing, but
he don't dance.
No. So Slater goes up to the very top of the truss that's supporting the Ultimate X structure, which is, anybody that watches TV knows, is 2 sets of ring ropes going across the top in the shape of an X. They climb across to get to the belt in the middle.
Right.
So everybody in the match, plus the seconds, meaning Top Dollar, were out on the floor. Number one, they're all just standing there looking up at him.
Right.
That was my first red flag there.
Yeah, that was the first time I was like, what the hell is this dumbass going to do?
Slater goes to the top of the thing when he could have easily just gone across because nobody was in the ring. He does this Fakakta Swanton 450 combo thing off the top to the floor.
Rep. Don't worry. His face caught his fall.
Yeah, nobody caught him. He bounced off with people and landed on his face. The fact he got up.
Did you see the look on Moose's face? Moose was scared.
Yeah, Moose thought he died.
Moose was scared.
Moose, you could see Moose talking to him.
Yeah. Like,
are you dead?
Yeah, basically.
And to his credit, Slater got up. He was fine.
He did.
I don't know how. Maybe it's because he's 21 and made of rubber.
Exactly. He bouncy.
Yeah. Somebody had opinions here, Minderz, and I'm going to show this. Ricky Morton.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Oh, Ricky. Okay, wrestling legend. Mute yourself. Wrestling legend Ricky Morton has shared his disappointment regarding an incident involving Leon Slater at TNA Rebellion. Morton voiced his feelings in a recent post on X where he commented on the execution of a spot involving Slater. Morton expressed particular concern over the trust Slater had placed in the talent involved and the way that the trust was seemingly mishandled during the event. Morton emphasized that Slater trusted his colleagues with his safety and performance, but that trust was ultimately betrayed when the group failed to support him properly. I am disappointed. Leon gave you his trust and body on the line for an amazing moment, and all of you dropped him, said Morton. Thank God he walked away. In our business, trust is everything, and his trust may never be the same. The mishap clearly left a strong impression on Morton, who highlighted the critical importance of trust within professional wrestling, suggesting that the repercussions of such incidents can have lasting impacts on a wrestler's confidence in their peers.
Okay, he's not wrong.
No.
But Bubba also made a point that he thought the flip was too much. Like, if you're going to do something off of something high, just he said like a crossbody would be enough.
Oh, okay.
No, also, because he'd be easier to catch, he'd be spread out. Doing a flip like that, he's in a ball, basically.
Right. So, funny part is, when I was sitting there thinking about it, I actually thought to myself, I said, why did he do the flip? Why didn't he just do a crossbody?
Christopher Daniels did a spot on top of the truss years ago in an Ultimate X match. It was him, Joe, and Styles. Do you know what his spot was? He jumped from the truss to the middle of the X and took the belt.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. Slater could have hit that easy.
Very easy.
But I know the plan was Moose had to win.
Well,
and Slater actually is the one that got the belt off the X.
I was going to say, he got off the X, and I think there's even some question as to...
Yeah, there was an issue because the rule is whoever comes down with the belt off the X wins.
Right.
There's a question of if Leon still had a hold of the belt when his feet hit.
Right.
Because as soon as he came down, he ate a spear from Moose, and Moose picked up the belt, and they said he was the winner.
Right.
So I think they're going to be booking a rematch one-on-one for that.
Now, a few other things we need to address. Casey Navarro had some help from Flop Dollar.
Yes.
By standing
walking across on his shoulder. Yeah.
Yeah, on his shoulders.
Which was kind of brilliant.
He kind of was.
Moose had help from Alicia Edwards because, as we know, he's afraid of heights.
Right.
Alicia didn't look thrilled either, by the way.
Moose grabbing the chair. I died laughing. When he grabbed the chair and he stood on it, hoping he was going to be able to reach the belt. That cracked me up.
I mean, Moose has an impressive vertical leap, but I don't think he would have cleared it.
Nah.
He should have done what the Dudleys did. Back in 07, the Dudleys, Team 3D, had an Ultimate X match against Sanjay Dutt and Jay Lethal and Sabin. Wait, no, hang on, I got it wrong. It was Lethal and the Guns against Team 3D and Johnny Devine.
Okay.
It was for the X Division Championship. And the Dudleys, as you know, weren't going to be climbing across any ropes. Right. They just used a ladder. They just pulled the ladder out under the ring, climbed the ladder in the middle, and took the belt down.
Well, there you go.
It's legal. Not necessarily within the spirit of the rules, but...
Right. The human piñatas were fun.
Yeah. I was glad that, I think it was Slater, when he was dangling from the X, didn't do the AJ bump when he goes inside out and lands on his back.
Ugh.
He just did the face plant in the middle of the ring.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Moose still X Division champion.
Mm-hmm. So that was match 2 that he had this weekend.
Mm-hmm. Did you make notes of the order of the matches?
Not really, but I could probably kind of remember.
If we're not in order, as long as we don't forget any matches.
The next one was the women's tag.
Yes, Ash and Heather by Elegance in the 4-way against Metaphor.
How much fun was Ash this weekend?
She was so cool.
She was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I liked her too.
Yes, she was very friendly. It was Gigi and Tatum, Metaphor, and Spitfire challenging the Ash and Heather by Elegance.
Still not a fan of Metaphor.
What?
Still not a fan of Metaphor. I don't know what it is with them. No, I don't like them.
I think it's just their posture, their body language, their attitude.
Is that what it is?
They're very effective heels, but they're not the cool heels that they think they are.
Right. They're Kardashian heels.
Yeah, Tatum and Gigi were over though.
Oh, I love them. But they had a busy week because We can
They
talk
had-
about them with some NXT too.
That got mentioned in the taglines before the
Yep.
match that they had a WWE tag title shot on Tuesday.
Obviously, they didn't win, but
So apparently Heather accepted the challenge under pressure. I'm not sure what they meant by that because I missed Impact Thursday. It looked like there was a little bit of miscommunication between Heather and Ash.
a little bit. But did you see who made an appearance?
That was
To
Maggie
help-
Lee, wasn't it?
It was. I really like Maggie Lee.
Mm-hmm. She was so helpful.
Why? Who? Who, Sean?
But the elegance is retained.
Elegances did retain with a little help from Maggie Lee.
I think he's talking about Tatum and Gigi.
Because
Because
Right,
there's
yeah.
not an NXT tag title anymore, and they're not ready
Right.
for the main roster tag titles.
right,
If there was still an NXT championship, they'd probably have it.
probably. Oh, metaphor? We don't know.
They're
They-
not there
they-
yet.
They want to put them over.
They've got
Aw.
they've almost got everything.
X Bombers.
What? Hey,
X Bombers.
both of our shirts are on point. Thank you. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
You were missed Saturday, X Bombers.
You were. Anyway, let's get back to this TNA.
All right. Next
Thing.
match. I'm trying.
Next match was the System
Oh, against the Rascals and Ace.
against the Rascals and Ace with
Sean Waltman in their corner.
Yeah, well, Sean Waltman in the corner.
All the guys on his team had tights, like tributing one member of DX each
Yeah, I kind of wanted to smack Ace.
because of the Mr. Ass tights.
Uh-huh.
He owes you money.
He does. Not Ace.
No, Billy Gunn. Someday we will collect.
Well, Sean, hold on. We'll get there.
We'll get there. Dango Curtis not in the match, so Moose pulling double duty on this one.
Make that match number 3 that he's in.
He
and
must have been
got,
sore as hell for this match because
Yeah, he was. You could tell he was struggling a bit.
plus Crew kind of beat him up a little bit Saturday.
Yeah. Well, and I'm sure that fall off from Leon Slater didn't help matters any.
No. Alicia ate an X Factor, which was fun.
Mm-hmm. But
I didn't need to see 3 Bronco Busters.
nah. And then
Zachary Wentz pinned Moose.
Yeah.
So,
So they were talking about he should be up for another,
you should be due
title
for a
shot.
then. Yeah.
which I have a feeling if they do that, it's probably going to be a triple threat.
Yeah, with Slater.
Yep.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens there.
And I think yesterday was Wentz's birthday, if I remember correctly.
I think you're right.
Could be wrong, but I think I'm got that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, next one I believe was Macklin and EY.
I really liked this match.
It was really good. I like
Two
this
dudes
one a lot.
knocking the crap out of each other.
Macklin coming out and stomping on the mask.
Yeah.
Oh, that was great.
Because EY was wanting to join the Northern Armory.
Right.
Macklin emphatically said no.
Yes.
Macklin might be my favorite guy in TNA.
He's really good.
He is.
He's
I like his
really
character.
good. Yeah.
He's a guy they kind of slept on in NXT when he was in the Forgotten Sons.
Well, thus the name, the Forgotten Sons. Just saying.
This is true. I always liked that group before I figured out that Riker was nuts.
Right? Riker wouldn't have been nuts, but no.
But anyway, yeah, fun
Macklin
match.
retained.
He retained, then he got hung up with a chain that didn't quite go all the way around his neck when they threw him over the top rope.
Nope.
But
And
it
it was-
looked effective.
It looked effective. Next was Mustafa
Mustafa Ali and Mike Santana.
and Mike
The Halls
Santana.
Count Anywhere.
This was not as bad as what I thought it could have been.
No, there was a lot more in the ring than out of the ring.
Yes, there was.
And they made some of the fuckery make sense.
Minderz law applied to a lot of this match.
Go on.
Well, Ali set up the table, then Ali went through the table. Ali set up the chairs. Ali went through the chairs.
Tasha Steele set up a table and she went through the
Tasha
table.
Steele set up the table. She went through the table.
The Good Hand set up the stairs in the corner, didn't they? And they went up.
That was yes, they did. Okay,
and that's kind of brilliant because
I enjoyed that spot. I really did.
It made perfect sense because that way they could keep the stairs from tipping over while they did the superplex. They had the guys leaning up against them to
keep it steady, and it didn't look
fake,
crazy obvious.
Yeah.
I
thought that was very well done.
Although my only problem with that though was, couldn't they have just rolled out and been on the outside of the ring pretty easily? I mean, they were handcuffed to the ropes, but they were only handcuffed on one side.
Yeah.
I thought it would have been funnier if Santana would have then handcuffed them together. Like, had they've been like, we can't leave each other.
Handcuff one of them to the ropes and the other one to the guy. So then the other guy has a free hand, but he can't get there because he's stuck to Hodge. I get it.
Yeah.
But fun match.
It was a fun match. And like I said, I did enjoy the fact that the guys were there
story behind it too. Well, he's trying to get Santana to fall off the wagon.
Yeah. Metaphors going their separate ways.
Is that confirmed on the show, Sean, or is that just speculation?
Yeah, is that speculation or what? Anyway, next one, I believe, was the women's match. It was Masha.
This was my favorite match on the show. I know it's weird to say about a Tessa match.
It is.
But man, despite all her falls, she is so good.
She really is good. Although the crowd still doesn't like her.
No. Sean is confirming that is actually okay. But yeah, those two together, you can't have a bad match.
Mm-mm. And I've seen Masha so much here lately. She's doing so many.
She's a workhorse, man.
She is. She's doing the independent stuff. That I thought Tessa was going to win too, and I'm glad she didn't.
I was surprised. I thought Tessa would win.
You know who I think might, and I could be wrong. I probably am wrong. But after seeing Masha and Maggie Lee go at it, it was a damn good match. So,
we didn't mention Minderz. There was a new signee in TNA that was there. Indy Hartwell.
Yes.
So I wonder if she'll get figured into the women's title picture at some point.
Which gets me, because they just, like, WWE has this working relationship now with TNA. So Indy left WWE to go to TNA.
Well, that doesn't mean she's going to do anything with NXT.
I know. It just seems kind of redundant. Yeah,
well, this way WWE doesn't have to pay her.
Oh, that's true too. That's true.
But also keep in mind, she is an undefeated NXT Women's Champion.
She is.
Never lost the belt. She was hurt.
Yep.
And her ex-husband was a big deal in TNA once upon a time.
Who's her ex-husband?
Samuel Shaw, Dexter Loomis.
Oh, okay. Next match would have been, I think, tag team match.
Tag title match. Nimbus and the Hardys.
You're going to talk about this one? I did not see this one.
It was okay. Not anything to really write home about. It was a Hardys match, so they played the hits. I was surprised that Nimbus won, to be honest with you. But Nick and Ryan Nemeth are the new tag champs. Ryan got the pin, which surprised me even more. They did the thing where Nick hit the zigzag, or whatever they call it now, and then Ryan blind tagged and ran in and covered him 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
But Dolph seemed okay with it though.
Okay. Sean has cutting news for you.
Oh, Sean, I'm watching. I got it on the other screen on my computer. Just we need Steele's already out for the year. We don't need Minaga going out too. But anyway.
Then we had the triple
World
threat.
title.
Yep.
For
Minderz
this
Law.
belt.
For that belt. That was a pretty belt. It was heavy too.
It's a very nice belt.
It was heavy.
Yes. Oh, you only had to hold a third of it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we had Joe Hendry, Kazarian, Ethan Page. I was pulling for Kazarian on this match. He's due.
I'm not going to tell you what I told you off air about how I was pulling for somebody until, yeah.
Match wasn't really much to write home about. It was just a triple threat match. Joe Hendry retained, but the stories what happened after the match, Minderz.
I heard about this.
Joe Hendry ate a trick shot.
Get him, Trick.
Trick Willie.
Oh. Now, see,
wonder-
but that completely blows our whole dark state angle out of the water,
Not
doesn't
necessarily.
it? Ooh. Reb,
Are your wheels spinning?
dark state versus the system.
But they're all heels.
So? Yeah, because they've never done...
Unless they're trying to take over everything. Interesting.
Or Dark State versus Rascals and Ace.
I mean, they could come up with any army of baby faces to go against Dark State. You got Hardys, you got the Rascals, you got Joe Hendry, you got Macklin, if you need a heavy.
Do you really consider Macklin a face?
Well, he was.
He's kind of he's a tweener for me.
He's kind of a tweener, but he was the baby face in that match with EY.
Well, because it was EY.
Macklin just wants to fight people.
I mean that's what it boils down to. Is Macklin, in my opinion, is a tweener.
Yeah, I like tweeners though.
I do too.
Tracy Smothers was the greatest tweener that ever lived.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Well, that is Rebellion. So make sure I make a line there. We should probably talk about what happened last night on Raw, Minderz.
Do we want to talk about SmackDown? Because we kind of talk about that a little bit.
We could talk about the high spots from SmackDown. I really liked the promo battle between Cena and Orton at the Open. I don't know if you went back and watched that yet.
The what? Yeah, I watched the promo. Yep.
I liked the thing where Cena said he didn't want to have kids because he spent 25 years raising everybody else's.
Right, yeah.
And also, did you notice in the Make-A-Wish commercial thing last night, they didn't show Cena?
I noticed. I thought that was interesting that they did that. But, yeah, so you had that. I really wanted Randy to hit another RKO on him, but I knew that wasn't going to. Oh, yeah, he did, didn't he?
He did.
I totally forgot.
Somebody posted that Cena, whenever he gets laid out, he always lands in the exact same position in the same spot in the ring.
Pretty much.
Big news, of course, Zelina Vega, my good Judy of the week, won the U.S. Championship from Chelsea Green.
Yep.
Then the TLC match. That's the one everybody's talking about.
That TLC match, man.
That's right up there with like the first two TLC matches as far as quality goes.
It was really good.
They came up with creative ways to use all the weapons. They didn't overuse the weapons.
Nope.
And then, the prosthetic leg popped me.
Yeah.
Stacy saw that. She's like, I hope that doesn't break. I was like, those things are durable.
And they have to be durable.
So, yeah, from what I saw, I'm going to watch SmackDown this week also, but I think it's been improving the last few weeks.
Yeah, it has been. It's getting there. I'm not sure.
Are we getting Fatu and Priest?
I don't know.
I don't hate it.
Or is it going to be Solo and Priest first?
It's hard to say. They got to have something for Fatu though with the title.
And Tommaso looks so weird.
He does. He looks
I'll
like
be glad-
Papa Pullman.
I know. I'll be nothing against Papa Pullman. I
You
will
love
be
Papa
glad.
Pullman.
I do love Papa Pullman.
You wouldn't have
but
that fish that you got Shark Boy to sign if it wasn't for Papa Pullman.
You're right. I wouldn't. Oh, that reminds me. I need to tell him about that. But Tommaso needs his beard back.
If I'm not mistaken, it doesn't take long for him to grow a beard.
No, it really doesn't.
No.
I figure it'll probably be back in about a month.
Yeah.
It'll be all right.
Yeah. Well, let's move on to Raw, Minderz. How do you feel so far going with the Heyman Rollins Breaker pairing?
I feel bad for Sammy.
Oh, he got his ass kicked, didn't he?
Well, I always feel like Sammy's kind of the one that he gets to be the sacrifice to everybody.
He's the whipping boy.
He is the whipping boy. He's the redheaded stepchild. I guess so. Technically, he was. I did like how
he doesn't have the red hair.
Yeah, exactly. I did like how Sammy called out Paul though for you doing the exact same thing you did with the bloodline.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I don't like this, that they're looking at Seth as, I'm caring about you. You're the one that's doing this to yourself.
So the wife made a point yesterday that made sense. Not that she doesn't ever do that, but she likened this to almost like a mob story, like the mafia.
Okay.
Where Seth is like the Don, and Paulie's his consigliere, and then Braun's his hitman.
Right. So we need a second in command.
And but Seth he's playing like the nice guy, like up like at the face of it. But when he doesn't get what he wants, then Paul sticks Braun on him.
Right. Which is basically what happened.
Yeah, until Seth's given the big stomp and put him out. But
right.
But that was just one shot though. And
Mm-hmm.
he said he made his choice.
Yep. All right, I want your opinion. So they went back and they talked about McAfee and Gunther.
Okay.
So how they went back and talked about Gunther and McAfee. How do you feel about this being a match at Fallout?
Well, we're due for a McAfee match. It's been a couple years.
It is Fallout. It's Backlash. Sorry,
Backlash. I fully expect Gunther to just beat the crap out of him.
Oh yeah, me too. I totally expect him to put him to sleep.
Probably.
With Michael Cole running in trying to pull Gunther off of him is what I'm expecting.
He'll at least jump on his back at some point.
Yep.
I'm okay with it just because it gives Gunther something to do. Because apparently we're getting Jey Uso and Logan Paul at Backlash for the world title.
Right. Well, yeah, but we're also getting... They're doing both the main titles, which is weird.
Yeah, they are, because they got Cena Orton.
They got Cena Orton, because... Yeah. All right.
Bubba made a point, though. He's glad that they're not doing this Gunther McAfee match in Indianapolis. Because that's too easy.
Yeah. I just really hope... I would love to see Randy not lose in St. Louis, but you know it's going to happen.
If he loses, there's going to be fuckery.
There better be. There better be. Or else I'm going to be really, really, really
Unless it's a good match. It might be just a classic.
Well, and it could be a good match, but still, I don't like seeing Randy lose in St. Louis.
Don't hang on. Don't be that person. That's Tony talk.
I know it is, but it's Randy. He's been there for how long?
25. Well, he's been in the business 25 years. Been on the main roster 23.
Right.
I know because we were both at his first match.
Right.
Ah,
Yeah.
good. Minaka has leg cramps. That's not bad.
Okay. He should have ate another banana.
Well, he can't go back in the game though.
But yeah,
They're up 7-0 in the 7th inning though, so I think it's okay.
they're fine then. Yeah, I don't know. That's just kind of how I feel. I always hate seeing Orton lose in St. Louis.
I won't be surprised if this isn't the last time these two have a match this year.
I hope not.
I can see them doing a multi-month run. You just thought of something, didn't you?
Maybe. I don't know how it would work.
That's not a good sign then.
No, but it's a good thought. But it's one of those things where I come up. You know how I do. I come up with the idea. I come up with what the match is that I think we want, and then everybody else comes up with how we get there. Yeah, exactly. Because I still want Cena Punk too.
That's going to happen at some point. They would be fools not to.
So that's why I'm trying to think, is there a way that we could get where Punk would screw over Orton so we could have Orton and Punk after? No? Okay.
They need Punk to be babyface at least through this Heyman stuff.
Okay.
I'm trying to think what heels could get. I really don't want it to be Travis Scott again. Fuck that guy.
Maybe The Rock?
If The Rock didn't show up at WrestleMania, I doubt he's showing up at Backlash.
Yeah.
What other heels are there on? Well, it's got to be SmackDown because it's the SmackDown title.
Alistair came back as a baby.
Right. Well, we got Rusev. Ooh, Rusev could go after Orton.
Oh, I hate you. No, he's on Raw.
So's Orton.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I'm all
Sean
right
says,
with
with Zelina as champ, don't have her lose all the time. I don't
Duh.
think they'll do that. I doubt they'll have her wrestle every week.
Probably not. Oh,
So,
you
yeah.
know what?
Because what'd you think of Rusev's video last night?
I liked it. I wish that is the Rusev we would have got full time.
That's the Rusev
Before?
Tony should have had.
Yes. The
But
Billy
he's
Badass.
He's out to fix everybody.
Right. The one thing I missed last night that I wish I wouldn't have missed, but it was on, like, you don't have the ad breaks where I have the ad breaks.
Right.
I missed whatever Kaiser said.
Kaiser basically cut a promo on being overlooked and not being on the show lately. He's sick and tired, he said.
He's sick and tired?
Yeah, that's his accent. He said sick instead of sick.
Gotcha.
I'm surprised he didn't say much about Gunther being suspended.
No, you
I think
know what?
they're
I
getting away
honestly
from
think
that.
I think they're trying to get him away from Gunther.
Yeah. Judgment Day, Minderz. Did you notice the body language between JD and Finn when they realized that nobody was telling Finn anything?
Mm-hmm.
Didn't I say that I thought that at some point Finn's going to turn babyface and JD's going to go with him?
Yep.
And can we celebrate that JD learned maybe not do the moonsault to the floor on the side with the table?
Amen, brother. Amen.
Man, he looked good last night, though.
Oh, he did, though. JD looked real good. Although I will say that when they announced that they were going into War Raiders, I was like, oh, dear God. No.
I think that's the case of him wanting to get back on the bicycle. Like,
right?
Put me back in with the same guys.
Put me back in the same guys. Let me fight the same people. And I was like, oh, my God. Oh, my God. Yeah, I was a little nervous.
Yeah.
I think I even put in the chat. I think I even put in our chat. I said, is anybody else nervous for JD? I was a little nervous.
What do you think of the New Day on commentary?
Yeah. I like heel New Day. I like this New Day.
Yes,
And I hate saying that because they're such pricks.
they are. And you love Big E.
I do. I did like how Michael Cole, every time he got a chance, was like, well, they were talking about Ivar, the War Raiders, and how, they need to cut the damn weight and blah, blah, blah. And they're like, we cut our weight, got rid of Big E. And Michael Cole's like, yeah, but you're not true friends. And I was like, oh boy, here we go again.
That's what got him in trouble last week.
I know. Did you not learn? Come on now. Did you not learn?
Does he think that McAfee's going to jump to his defense every time? I mean, I know he said he would.
I would say I think
Does he expect Pat to be effective every time?
Be nice if he'd actually get one over on somebody, but I ain't holding my breath on that one.
Well, Michael Cole is undefeated at WrestleMania.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, pretty much. It was by DQ after the match was over. He actually did tap out, so he did lose, but then they reversed the decision.
Right.
All
right. What else did we have last night? Is there anything? Oh, Lyra.
Yeah, Lyra got some balls. How about that?
I know.
Is this the Lyra is this what you've been wanting to see out of Lyra?
She's still not quite there.
Not quite, but there were steps.
The steps were taken.
I love Becky's promo.
Oh, Becky's was so good. But I've always liked Becky. So
yeah. Do you think Becky takes the IC title off of Lyra?
Yes.
Sort of.
Yes. Yep.
I think this is building to Becky and Bayley more than anything.
Yep. Well, I liked how last night she's like, well, let's just cut straight through the crap. And yes, I attacked Bayley. And I was like,
see, I like that. No bullshit.
Wait, I know
who has done this, as Raymond Holt would say.
I almost messaged you and I was like, I think we all already knew this. I think we already.
Stacey was proud of herself because she called it.
Ah. It's amazing how some of those work sometimes where you're just like, yeah, I see this coming. I was like, that's pretty obvious because if she was the one that attacked Bayley, then that got her in the spot she wanted to be.
Sean asked who takes off Becky if she does. I'd say Bayley.
Probably.
Bayley's about the only one with the gravitas to do it, unless it's Lyra again. But
no, I don't think it's going to be Lyra again. I do
think there will be a program with Lyra for at least a month before Bayley comes back.
Right. Actually, let me whiteboard this one for a little while.
Mm-hmm. It's fun to whiteboard things, isn't it?
It is, because I'm trying to figure out how to get there. And when. Because I feel like Bayley's going to take it off of her either SummerSlam or Survivor Series.
I need to see how how her run would go with the belt before I say for sure, but my instinct is telling me SummerSlam.
That was kind of what mine's thinking too.
I mean, if she's getting it over and making it mean something, then heck yeah, like have her hold it through WrestleMania for all I care. Make that belt mean something.
Wait. Where's Clash of the Castles in August?
Clash in Paris. It's in France.
Oh, it's in France.
Maurice? Is that what you're thinking?
No, I was thinking it was in Ireland again.
No, I think they changed it every year. I think it's in Paris this year.
Okay. All right.
Bring back Jacques Rougeau.
Oh, dear God. Bring back the Mount. Never mind. That's Canada. Never mind. Anyways, that pretty much everything.
You'd have to get the Ghost of Andre the Giant or Rene Goulet.
All right. Is there anything else we can talk about on Raw?
I think we covered pretty much everything. We talked about the main event segment.
Mm-hmm. War Raiders are.
We should talk about this. Sean mentioned this. Liv Morgan's going to film a movie.
Yep.
So he was asking what that means for the women's tag titles if she goes to film a movie. Because I don't know how long she's going to be gone for.
Well, and here's the thing. If she's only in California, it's not like she can't. If she's only going to be there a couple times, I mean.
Yeah, it depends on how long she's scheduled to shoot for.
I'm sure she could get away for a weekend and come back for a PLE.
I don't think she's starring in the movie. I don't think she's
Right.
like #1 on the call sheets. So it's possible they could make this work, at least for house shows.
Right.
Happy for Liv, Sean says. I agree. I think she's got something that will translate well in movies.
Yeah.
Maybe I think if they follow traditional rules, she has 30 days to defend the championship. That puts her to the end of May. So maybe they would just have. Well, number one, they don't have anybody to challenge at the moment.
No, they don't.
So they could spend the next month building up a challenger, and then maybe at the pay-per-view they can get Liv an appearance or two on Raw, then at the pay-per-view have a title defense. But
Maybe.
I don't know who they would get to challenge. Would it be Gigi and Tatum again? Would it be somebody from NXT? Would it be Heather and Ash from TNA?
Would be Spitfire.
Could be Spitfire.
I'd be okay with Spitfire, honestly.
We got to think babyface though, because Spitfire is the best idea for babyface if you're going TNA route.
Right.
If you're going NXT. I mean, I keep coming back to Tatum and Gigi, but they've already had their shot.
Yeah. Because there's really not any other baby faces.
Sean says she has a major role in this film. Carlito and Drag have Raquel team up with him. Carlita. But still with the
probably would
mustache.
do
Still
it.
with the goatee, though.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think of who some of the other face tag teams are at NXT right now.
Yeah, you don't want to put Jade and Bianca back in there because they got another story altogether.
No. Not unless you put Jordan in a tag team. Oh,
We got Julia or Zarya and Solruka.
yeah, but Solruka has a belt.
I know that goes against what you stand for.
It does. I wonder though, would Kilani and Jordan Grace make a halfway decent face tag team to kind of do something with Jordan for right now?
Well, I could see Jordan swinging Kalani at her opponents.
Right. That's my point.
Part of me
Thea,
would see him do
what
something
is
with
it?
Jada.
Thea Hall? Thea
Hale.
Thea Hale?
What about Jordan and Lola?
Oh, I hate you right now. Oh, I hate you right now.
Yeah, I did hear this. Sean Naomi said that her bump card's filling up and she may retire soon, start a family.
Yeah, I heard she's starting to have some
Yeah.
issues.
Yeah, we need to whiteboard this women's tag team division, Minderz.
We do.
We have to come back to this next week.
I've come back to this one.
Minderz, this is an odd week. We don't have a segment this week. We don't have a Hall of Fame or a top 10.
Too many weeks this month.
Or 5 weeks in April. 5 Tuesdays in April.
Yep. But we covered them all with Squared Circle Expo stuff.
That's true. No guests for next week as of now on May 6th, but we'll probably be previewing Backlash, make picks for that.
Yes.
We got an LFG. We'll have to talk about eliminations starting on there. I have a couple of ideas for some discussions that we can get into. So we got some stuff planned for next week.
Maybe we'll have to watch AEW.
We may have to. Oof. Can I
You
just
know
listen
what?
to Corny's review and go off of that?
No, because he's
No,
always
because
needing
we want to sound like we make our own decisions.
Exactly. Oh, Io's on NXT tonight.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. She's been going around with Stephanie. She got some beef with Roxy and Julia.
Jordan and Rhea.
Damn you.
Sorry, that one just hit me out of the blue. As you could tell, my face went from.
But would they put Rhea with Liv again, even for a one-off? Unless it's building to Rhea versus Jordan.
Why couldn't it be something set up like that to where they team up together to take those tag team belts, leading to that?
But they kind of just did that with Becky and Lyra.
Except this time they're going to let them keep them for a while.
Okay, I don't hate it. Put that on the whiteboard.
Okay. Because we can't do EO because I'd go against everything I saw it.
Right, Io's busy enough with well, Kyrie's coming back soon.
Dakota Kai.
Or Asuka. Maybe get the Kabuki Warriors.
Ooh.
We got
Holy
Jack
crap.
Kyrie too.
I was
She's
going to
still
say
like a
it's
brick
Jack
shithouse.
Kyrie too.
So we have options. We got to fire up the old whiteboard for next week. Tomorrow, Independent Wrestling Shootout, we will be joined by the Pro Wrestling Epic Heavyweight Champion Keith Smith Jr.
We'll talk about hot dogs and handshakes.
Yes, they got a show this weekend.
And we'll be talking about Clash of the Force. AVW show.
Oh, yeah. Clash of the Force, I think is what it's called. And then next week, we're going to talk about the Blue
14
album.
million different shows.
Yes, because we've got War Games, we got New Version, and Mad Bash doing their thing on the 11th.
Huh?
I think it's the 11th.
It's not till 31st.
31st. Okay, so we got time on that one.
You got time on that one, but we've got Signal 10, we've got Hybrid, we've got
01.
Iron Spirit, we got 01.
I think we got another PWE, don't we?
Yes, PWE in Centralia.
But that's next week.
That's next week.
Yeah.
Unless we take on part of that, we might go ahead and talk a little bit. And don't forget, next Wednesday we will be joined by the Powder Keg, Jimmy Carrot.
Yes, for War Games.
Yes.
And yes, Sean, Backlash is next Saturday.
Yeah, we know. Trust us. We know.
Yeah, it's not this coming Saturday, so we'll have to make picks next Tuesday for next Saturday.
And apparently there's a show in Cooter, Missouri.
Cooter, yeah. Everybody, somebody in Cooter.
Everybody, somebody in Cooter.
Friday, Extreme Wrestling Review Podcast. We will be dropping that on 9 a.m. on Spotify and Audible, talking about the March 24th, 2000 episode of ECW on TNN. I almost said ESPN.
You almost did.
Almost. And then Friday evening, we will be dropping a new episode of Gold Rush, myself and Jabari Sinclair, and we are talking about that belt right there, the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. And also a program note for Gold Rush going forward, that will no longer be a live presentation. That will be recorded and dropped on YouTube. No real reason, just the fact that, just we can plan better and get things done. So
you don't have to do it at a time when you think everybody else is available.
Right.
Do it whenever the hell you want to. So
whenever
Friday
one of us is off, we can do it on a day off in the morning if we want to.
Yes, you can.
But anyway, so that's what's cooking on the network. So Minderz, let's say we get out of here. I think I hear plates rattling in the background, which means I think Bender might be ready. So let's get out of here. Thanks again to Jeremiah Plunkett. Under fire, he came in. He wasn't feeling well. So
yeah,
I think everybody's getting it. Whatever it is, he's got allergies, what have you.
We're all struggling right now.
Yeah, as you can tell,
I know a lot of mine
I have to mute and sneeze and cough and shit.
Well, I think a lot of it is too Saturday. Well, not so much you, but I know Barry and I had to walk back and forth, and it was cold Friday and Saturday night.
Yeah. Thanks again to everybody that joined us here on Squared Circle Expo Month, building up to this past weekend. I'm already planning for next year, Minderz, for the expo.
I need to start because I spent way too much money this year.
It's easy to do.
It is. You go there, and like I said, I only came home with, that and T-shirts. I came home with a lot of shirts.
Yeah.
Because I got this one, I got a Joel Gertner one, which I believe I'm planning on wearing tomorrow night.
Okay. But you didn't get the Let's Start a Cult shirt.
I didn't, and I'm kind of bummed. Although I did find one on Amazon that looked a lot like that one that had the
Yeah.
Kool-Aid Man on it. So I'm thinking
You have to hunt it down there.
I might hunt it down. So, hey, big shout out to our friends Craig and Alex,
Yes.
because we had a blast with them this weekend, and our new buddy Cash.
Yeah, they're a good hang.
Yep.
Cash is what you might call a supermark, but we mean that with love.
We do mean it with love.
He was
A lot of
good kid.
things we didn't completely agree with on him, but
I didn't care for him wedding during the.
yeah, I know.
But I don't know him well enough to slap him.
Yeah, none of us did. We met him in a photo op line.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, you go to these things, you meet all sorts of new people.
Oh yeah.
It's a good time.
There's a guy I'm friends with on Facebook from Canada that I met in the Sting line last year.
Well, shoot, that's how I got a whole bunch of new friends on Facebook from this weekend. So.
Oh yeah. Running my buddy Jay Vincent from Kentucky. He's going to come on, join us sometime. Talk about his background. He's actually used to wrestle or appear in TNA back in the original weekly pay-per-view days. So.
Oh wow.
So we'll find out a day to get him in there. 2 weeks on May 13th, we do have a guest announcement to make. We are going to be joined by Joe, AJ, and Casey Kazana, collectively known as the Country Gentlemen, the NWA US Tag Team Champions, because that is the week of the Crockett Cup in the NWA.
Yes.
So we're going to talk to those guys.
And those guys were so much fun.
They were so cool.
AJ's a lot of fun.
Yeah. I think Alex had a thing for AJ.
A little bit. I don't know, there's something about those big muscly guys.
Yep, the Cowboys.
Not necessarily Cowboys, because she had a thing for a couple other people too. So.
Maybe we'll see if they want to come to Oakwood and wrestle the Whiskey Benders at some point.
On that note,
yeah. Oh, hey, Minderz, do you want to announce our other guests that we've got coming up after the Country Gentlemen?
I don't remember. I don't remember.
Nana's buddy?
Oh yeah, totally. Okay,
this is a Minderz hit.
This was a Minderz. This was a straight up Minderz shot for the fences.
This was a Minderz hunt and find.
This was one Angel Medina, is that how you pronounce his last name, I believe? And he was Angel from the Baldies. So, as we like to call him, Cecil.
Yep, Angel from the Baldies, ECW. We're going to show him the New Jack picture with the crossbow.
And ask him why.
Ask him if he ever got shot at with a crossbow by New Jack.
Yeah. Thank you for helping me out with the Prince Nana reference, because that helped a lot.
You're welcome.
Actually.
Hey, how cool was he?
He was so much fun. Dude, Prince Nana, when I showed him, okay, so like I told you, I've been talking to Angel, we just been shit too. And he had sent me this message, and I told him I was going to see Nana this past weekend. And he was like, oh, well, here, you tell him this. And I read it, and I was like, I ain't telling him that. I don't know him that way. I ain't doing that. So I just brought it up on my phone. I said, hey, Nana, I need to show you this. And I showed it to him, and he was like, hey, yeah, that's my buddy. I was like, oh, okay, cool.
Did he laugh like an evil Disney villain again?
Kinda.
He cannot say anything without sounding like Prince Nana.
No. And he even had the jacket there. You could put the jacket
on. That's my one regret. I didn't take a picture with Nana and wear the robe.
Right? I just got my picture with Swerve and Nana. It was great.
Yeah, I didn't get nearly as many pictures as I did last year.
I took over 100. I took over 100.
Yeah.
But when you figure out most of the tables, when you go to get your picture taken, they will take a bunch of pictures. Like they'll take like 4 or 5 each time.
They want to make sure you get one that you like. Oh, I gotta show this. I've been saying it for 2 years. It finally happened.
It finally happened. He got it
the Hammer
signed.
Valentine signed my Let Go of My Toe card.
Did he pop when he seen it?
He reacted. He got a kick out of it. The guy that was taking his money popped hard
Oh, did he?
when he saw it. I'm willing to bet I may be the only guy that was at the expo with that card with me.
I wish you could have seen Sharky's face and Curry Man's face when I handed them the fish. They thought that was hilarious.
Hey, what'd you think of the guy in the line that had the clam juice and the fishing pole?
Oh my god. The ones that were
He had the Dory hat on.
That was hilarious. But then to hear what he did for his daughter that's in high school on the swim team. Oh,
and also,
thing.
shout out to Curry Man for staying in gimmick during the entire photo line.
It was great. I told him I was glad he made the trek.
Yes,
from
because
Japan.
he is from Japan. Yes.
Yes.
He said Kane was very lean.
Yes.
Yes, because there was a skinny Kane in the line.
Yes.
Who was also a heck of a dancer.
Yeah. I saw him without his gimmick on later. That's
that's disappointing.
Not really.
So it wasn't
I
Hippie
mean,
Johnny?
come on. It wasn't Hippie Johnny.
Okay.
I thought it was to begin with. But
Yeah, because he actually wore that costume
all day.
in a battle royal.
Yeah.
Minderz were rambling.
Let's get out of here. I tried to say thanks, guys, earlier, and you.
Yeah, I know. All right. Well, anyway, thanks everybody for joining us. Until next time, for Minderz, this is Reb. Reminding y'all, life is hard, work stiff. We'll see you guys next.
Thanks, guys.